folks. Hope everybody's good on this Saturday evening, I should say, since it's not 11 yet. And it's not Sunday yet. It's pretty chill tonight. Let's have fun. I don't know if anybody's watching, but that's okay. A couple good ones tonight. I may do a double feature after the first one. I'm going to do which one it was? It was on sleep paralysis and demons and stuff. And it's about 24 minutes long. Well, I cut it down, so it's going to be about 22 because I don't play all the end because a lot of that stuff's done past. But I hope everybody's having a wonderful night so far. We didn't get any rain, but everybody south of 70 of us is under a flood watch, so which is weird, but it's typical. It always seems to follow 70. And that's enough for the weather, I guess, until somebody comes in and says something. I'm going to put up her video for Monday. Hold on a second here. I got it ready. All I have to do is this. Get rid of the chat thing. It's all there. Here is her video for... Oh, sorry. Got an itch. Monday, 11 o'clock. Share the screen here. There we go. And there we go. Flip me around. Make me bigger. There we go. But that's her Monday video. The Carter brothers. They're supposed to be real life vampires. We'll see. I'll make a few comments during that one. If I'm in the room, I should be. We'll see. I'm a busy man. But yeah, that's Monday's video. And folks coming in, please make sure you hit that like button at least. And we'll get a rocking here in a little bit. So I don't know who's watching. It's just one again. So people kind of coming and going, checking out the scene. That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, I'll start the videos. I usually start the uploads around 10:15, 10:30. Hey, Chris, how you doing? And, internet. This is the first time I've had those pop up in a while. I forgot what she'll be here Monday. Well, she won't be here. Upload Monday at 11. Should be here Wednesday, as far as I know right now. Then Friday. See what else. That's about it. And like I said, I'll start the videos between 10 and 10:30, depending on how things go. And it'll also depend on how I, sorry about that, folks. If I play one or two, so we'll just go from there. Oh, yeah, of course. Let's just keep that outside this room. I kind of just want to give everybody a break from that tonight because it's been going on all day. Everywhere you go, you see it. So I figured I'd give everybody a break from it. And tonight's a good night to actually have Gemma's replay or at least hang out. So give everybody a good, calm break. Yeah, my dad's had it on, off and on all day. I can't scroll the internet or anywhere without running into it. So, and that's a good thing. Well, American pride, but, that's life. It's going to happen. They've divided us. So there's still some jinglers in the middle. PayPal, me? What do you need PayPal for? What's that for? Andrew? Oh, Gemma's PayPal? Yeah, I usually put that in a little later. But I usually do put it in. If you could do it right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm picking on you. I hope you're safe on the road. Are you out and about? I'm giving you a hard time on purpose. Hold on. I'm going to watch myself for a second. Why didn't you just do that in the first place? You got it on here. Right here. Here we go. There you go. That's how you do that. How you doing, sir? You good on the road? Are you home? Are you resting? Chris is checking out the bebop on the boob tubes. I haven't watched the trailer or the thing for Spaceballs 2. I'm going to. I just haven't looked for it yet, but I've seen enough talk about it. And Cheyenne, Wyoming, overnight, then be home after Monday. There you go. Interesting place to be. Good old Cheyenne. I'm going to go look for some things. Put a little, make the hairs on the back of the neck stand up. Went to Buc-ee's earlier. Oh, there you go, Chris. Buc-ee's. But thanks for putting that up there. I just never seen the me one. Who it goes. Huh. Oh, yeah. Cool breeze. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. I hope you are safe out there. Yeah, all over Texas. Yeah, I know they're big down south. We haven't. Chris got one close to him, unless he's somewhere else. I can't wait till we get our Wawas. The what's it? The one they got up here now. They're trying to compete. So what everybody else, dead silence. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Okay, let's see. Yeah, they do. Some of them do. One town's not so much, but I noticed the ones outside of town did. Made sure you guys could get in there. Let me go ahead and I'll pop this up again later. But yeah. And then I'll get ready to put the first upload up here in a little bit. What time we got here? We got 8 minutes. So, but nearest one to here is in Lexington. They are building one in Columbus this year. Yeah, I heard that. We'll see how it does. Probably get slammed. Since it's big talk wherever you go, TikTok, Facebook. Oh, Woodstown, New Jersey. Oh, it has the truck parking. Probably does. I noticed a lot of the ones off the toll roads do, of course. But you pay toll everywhere you go in that town. So, and you get one of those license plates set. When it detects a camera, it automatically puts a shade over it. It's pretty funny. I've seen one the guy's driving somebody, following somebody, and you can see the license plate get covered up just as it starts to go underneath. Oop, wrong one. There ain't nothing in that. But yeah, let's see. I got it all queued up and ready to go, so that'll be good. All I have to do is plop it in. Make sure here. Yep. Get this. Ah. There we go. That's pretty much ready to go now. Oh, I'm sure it is, Chris. I'm sure it is. I can imagine when they open one up here, it's going to be busy. It'll probably be wall-to-wall people. And you're getting 2 more? Yeah, they're going to be everywhere. They bring down the gas prices and everything else, and it'd be even more busier. I don't know what everybody's average at out there. Ours is right now sitting at $3.19. Anybody cheaper than that? Or more expensive than that? But it's $3.19 here in town. I've seen it as low as $3.05. That's another thing that cracks me up. They want us to spend money, but you can't go nowhere. So, yeah. People are still coming and going. I'll give it a little bit longer than I may go ahead and start this because I know a lot of people come in just to watch the replays. Don't know where my ladies at. Where are you, Vixen? Where are you, Cindy Lee? Where are you, Aunt Edna? The ladies? The men need something to talk to. Excuse me. Anybody else out there? I hadn't seen Kat for a while. She was kind of a nice surprise. Very nice lady. Her YouTube channel is pretty cool. She does a lot of AI stuff. Some places here at 256. Damn, that's not bad. Pardon my mouth. That's not bad at all. And Gemma's, just so everybody knows, Gemma's at the Paranormal Circus. So that's probably done by now, I would think. I don't know. I didn't know what time it started. She put a TikTok out. I don't know. It's earlier, around 6 or so, saying the lights were off. So I don't know how long they last. I figured about an hour and a half, too. But yeah, it should be a good time. Depends on what they do afterwards. Because I know a lot of them have the free shows and stuff. So that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, other than that, we're just going to hang out, watch these uploads. We'll do one, then we'll see how everybody's doing and chilling. Eating their snacks and doing their things. Going to Wawa's and grabbing some munchies. You watched it 3 times? I got to watch Sanix. I had little issues last time I kept talking about it. So, yeah. I don't know why, because it's all over YouTube. Yeah, me and Dad, I got to get him to sit down because he loves the Predator stuff too. So I'm going to sit down and watch it with him. We'll probably do it tomorrow evening while we eat dinner. And I got to sit down and rewatch Romulus because I want to rewatch it because when I was watching it, I was kind of watching it and working at the same time, and I need to go back and rewatch that. So, Alien Predators are my thing. Got me a new Godzilla, though. My brother come home and throw me one of these balls. There's a ball like this. It's pretty cool. And it had bottom to it. And what you do, it's got a stand in it. You put it, take it apart. I'll show you the packaging if you can see it. Even came with broken buildings. You can do that, and then you put your Mecha Godzilla. He's kind of cool too. He's pretty detailed for a small little guy. I had to put him together, of course, but he's pretty cool. Kind of glare, but yeah, he's pretty cool. I need to set him up there. Pretty cool. But yeah, it came in a ball. He goes, "Here." I'm going, "Happy early Father's Day." But yeah, which I thought was cool. Hold on, I'm gonna call. Oh, sorry about that. Click too soon. Oh, much better. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool. Now I want the whole set. There's 8 of them. They even got Bionicle Hedra. They got both of this Mecha Godzilla and then the older one. They got Space Godzilla. And it looks like they got 2 different types of Godzilla and even Baby Godzilla. So they look pretty cool. I like the fact they come with a little stand and everything. It was pretty cool. So now I gotta have them all. I go, "Dude, where do you get this? Walgreens." I go, "How much?" He goes, $8. Well, what'd you buy it for me for? He goes, "Because I thought you would like it." He doesn't say much. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It was pretty easy to put together. But it is pretty cool. It doesn't stand up. The tail's heavy, so you kind of have to, the buildings kind of help it. You can put it in your palm. Putting it flat, it tends to lean back because of the tail's a little heavy. So I'm kind of glad they put the buildings with it because it kind of holds him up on the stand a little better. I bought this last week. Let me check it out. Come on, let me check it out. Oh, you bought the whole set? Mystery Mini Godzilla 70. Style may vary. Was it a whole pack or was it just like a whole box, or you just buy one of those? Those are cool though. I think I watch what is that? What is his name? Monster Island Buddies. Oh, you bought all of them? Monster Island Buddies. I'm pretty sure he showed those. Those are pretty cool. Yeah. I'll have to find those too. I don't want to order them. That's more fun going out and looking for them. And if I can't find them, then I go. We have a Quick Trip and Quick Shops in Iowa and Minnesota. Yeah, Quick Trips are, I've seen those before. They were here for a bit. They were quick stops. I only saw a couple of them. They didn't last long. That's like Swifties. In Swifties, we would pump the gas. I worked for them for a short time as a second job. And then I worked there full time for a while. But they're gone now. Oh, they have them? Yeah. Is this the ones? Is that the ones? Oh, no, I haven't seen those. What's in them? Oh, wow. Check it out. Those are pretty cool. Yeah, I've seen the other Godzillas. There's a pop of the -1 Godzilla I want that's like a black and white version that looks pretty cool. That I may have to order. Yeah, I love, I'm a Godzilla guy. So. Dragons. I still think Godzilla's a dragon just because he doesn't have wings. Some dragons don't have wings. He still flies. He uses his breath to fly, if you remember that old one. Oh, he's giving Chris is going for it. He's giving me all the shopping. Yeah, I almost bought this, Chris. I almost bought it. I still might. I know I can get one for like half the price. I thought about getting it just for the fun of it. Chia Pet. Godzilla Chia Pet. May have a Chia Pet for everything. There's a Michael Meyer one, so I almost sent Gemma. I should still send it to her. She'd probably get a giggle out of it. So yeah. But yeah, I've been kind of trying to watch. I mean, everybody's buying me the collectibles. I've been just trying to watch where I spend for reasons. I want to, because old man, you never know. So, but I'd still treat myself. I bought a couple of things. Always do when I get paid, when I can. I'm just waiting for it to get here. He bought me a Bluetooth speaker. I don't know why, but I went and got it. What the heck? That way I have one. The one for the TV is crappy. I may use it for the TV. It looks like a pretty good one. But other than that, man, I'm not a man of many needs. Like I said, it kind of bummed me. I had to sell my collectibles, but I cried a little bit, but not over the stuff that I really liked, but not as much as I thought I would. I knew it had to be done, and it was replaceable. Some of it was replaceable. Some of it's kind of hard to find now. So I'm trying to find replacements for it now. But enough of that. It seems boring. We're down to 3 people. I may go ahead and start the uploads. Let me see where we're at here. We're good to go. Let me get her up here. Let's see. Go to full screen. Wait, I can't do that yet. Forgot. Okay, wait 1 second. Share. Dun, dun, dun. Share screen. Forgot some things I can't do right away. I'm gonna set and some of the other. Your stickers, man. I was showing them. Somebody was like, "I'll buy those up," and I'm like, "No." Hold on 1 sec. Let me get this situated, Chris, and then I'll look at it. What's that? Well, I gotta switch things around here. And make her bigger. Let me look at this real quick. I want to look at this before I start this. Is those all the ones off of Facebook? There's some cool stuff on another. I'll have to drop a link next Wednesday for you, Chris. This is a whole set that comes in that box. Wow, those are really kind of cool. Huh. Bandai. I'll have to check that out later. I will have to check that out later. Okay. Yeah. That is their official Toho. That's what I thought. Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, your StreamYard popped up before the YouTube did. Okay. Let me start this. I got too many screens up. Let me close one down here. There we go. I'll show that later again, like I always do. Okay, get this going.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, just welcome. My name is GemmaJadeYT, but today we are going to be discussing encounters with demons in the night. I've said it before many times, and I will continue to say it again and again. We are at our most vulnerable when we are sleeping. Sure, there are things that we can do to bring on demonic encounters and even possessions, but they are almost always seem to be at their worst in the dead of night while we are normally lying in bed, minding our own businesses and trying to go to sleep. I have recently discussed this in one of my many videos about the jinn, and it seems, at least as far as I believe and can tell, that the darkest hours and the dead of night for us are their most active. Whether this is just the way of things or if they are purposely coming at us at our most vulnerable time.
Oh, that's cool.
That can't be proven, but I certainly have my ideas on that one. As always, let me know what you think of these encounters in the comments below, and let's just jump right in. Our first victim is a man who we will call Ted, and who in the early 90s was living with his elderly mother in a house they shared somewhere on the East Coast in the United States. Ted explains that he seemingly all at once discovered a very deep, dark interest in demonology and all things occult, and he couldn't get enough research in on the subject. He would feverishly read about encounters and theories and everything else he can get his hands on, almost from the time he woke up until the time he went to bed at night. Eventually, he found himself blowing off work, blowing off his friends, and even bathing less. He was raised in a very religious home, and his mother was growing more and more concerned by her son's strange interests as the days went on. While Ted never went so far as to disrespect his mother when she voiced these concerns to him, he did absolutely ignore her altogether and continued to hardly ever leave his room, except to go to the local library to get more research. Remember, guys, this was the early 90s. He even lost his job eventually. He didn't understand it at the time, but definitely now he says he understands that this had become an obsession for him and that he couldn't have stopped at that point even if he had wanted to, which he definitely didn't. One day, as he sat there writing and researching all things occult, he noticed a subtle shift in the atmosphere of his room. Now, a lot of us in this community are very familiar with that subtle shift, right? When you know an entity or some type of energy that's off comes into your personal space. He said it became unnaturally cold and dark, and that the energy just somehow felt heavier in the room. He said it was even harder for him to breathe. He figured maybe it was just that he hadn't opened the windows in a while and decided to finally take a break and shower. The room's atmosphere, however, stayed the same, and it even seemed to deteriorate over time. Ted figured these were all things he could live with and really didn't think much of it. However, after about a year or so of every single day, every spare moment, every single second, really, it didn't even have to be a spare moment, Ted was sitting there and researching and investigating into the occult and demonology, and he said that's when things got really scary. As he laid down for bed one night, he noticed the room was even colder than it usually was, and seemingly much darker too. There was the usual light coming in from the outside, but it somehow didn't seem to be penetrating into the room the way it normally did. After all, having lived in the same home and this same room his entire life, he was used to what was normal and what wasn't at this point. I believe he was in his mid-20s at this time. Ted stated that as he closed his eyes to go to sleep, the feeling he always felt of being watched grew to such intensity that he jumped up, expecting to see some form of intruder standing at the foot of his bed. There was no one there, or so it seemed at first. He did see a very strange circular-shaped shadow in the corner ceiling of his room that seemed to grow larger with each passing night. So this was a nightly thing. He just saw this random shadow dot in the corner of the one ceiling, and every night it was getting bigger and bigger. And that to me is like really creepy. He explained it was unusually dark and inky black, and that by a week since it had first appeared, it was now much larger and scrolled halfway across the ceiling of his room and no longer just a small dot in the corner anymore. So this thing was growing like this way over the ceiling. He experimented with moving all of the furniture all over the place all of the time because his logical mind was thinking there had to be something in this room that was casting this bizarre and somewhat creepy shadow. He kept trying to rationalize it day in and day out as the anomaly kept growing larger and larger by night, until one night something happened that made it so that he could no longer deny what it was and or what was happening to him. Ted stated, quote, "It seemed to get a bit bigger. Confused, I moved some things around in my room, figuring again something in there was casting a shadow to no avail. The shadow stayed the same, and although I was a bit disturbed by it, I figured there was a scientific reason for it. Something outside was casting the shadow, and I would go to sleep every night like normal. Then, one night, as I turned out the light and went to bed as usual, I noticed the shadow seemed bigger than normal. I repeat, this was a very strange shadow. It seemed to be thicker than a normal shadow, almost like a puddle of black coffee. As I lay there trying to fall asleep but feeling very uncomfortable, for some reason, I began to notice that with each opening and closing of my eyes, the shadow would loom larger and appear to be seeping toward me. I was frightened, of course, yet I was intrigued. It seemed as though the longer I kept my eyes closed, the quicker it would move toward me, but it would always stop right where it was whenever I opened my eyes. At one point, the thing was at the foot of my bed. I opened my eyes to look at it, expecting it to pause there. At this point, I was becoming increasingly frightened. Instead of pausing, it began to pour toward me, and I felt the most unnatural, empty, cold, hungry evil I've ever felt in my entire life coming from it. It was then and there, I knew for sure in my heart it was a demon, and I knew that it had relation to the junk I had been studying. I pulled the blanket over my head, switched on the Christian music station, and prayed like crazy," end quote. According to Ted, these measures worked and the shadow demon thing was gone for good. He also gave up all of his research into the occult and rejoined society again. He gained employment, made peace with his friends, and moved on to have a productive and average life. What more could you ask for after going face to face with a demon, right? I mean, in this community, we should all know it's like the least we can ask for is a bit of quote unquote normalcy with the things we see, experience, feel, hear, etc. on a daily basis. I don't think Ted really understands still to this day that he was on the verge of a full-blown demonic possession. We must always remember, guys, to be careful when dealing with anything involving demonic entities and the occult in general, and we have to remember to protect ourselves. This doesn't mean that reading a few books or watching a couple of YouTube videos on the subject is going to bring you to the brink of possession. But when it becomes an obsession, as it definitely had for Ted, that's where the danger lies. Also, some people are more susceptible to things like demonic possession because of certain attachments they may have or things happening in their personal lives at the time when they may be doing the research or watching the videos or whatever it is. So please be careful. Our next encounter took place in Perth, Australia, and also to a man who was living with his mother at the time. He explained that his mother had always told him the house they lived in now had a very violent history, but refused to elaborate any further as to what this violent history was. After living in his mother's house for some time, he began to become convinced that something was watching him from the shadows in the corners of the home and that it followed him around from room to room. Either that or there was something in each corner in each room. He had only moved in with his mother recently, so he wasn't as used to the old creepy house as his mother had become. Our witness would constantly see things moving around in his peripheral vision, shadows again in the corners of the room. Nothing would be there when he would turn and try to see whatever it was head on. This went on for months, but he had no idea what to make of it or if there was anything at all that could be done about it. He then explained that he woke suddenly in the middle of the night to the feeling of being watched and to a bedroom that was at least 10 degrees cooler than it had been when he'd gone to sleep just a couple of hours before. I'll let him explain it. Quote, I noticed that my door was wide open and I didn't remember leaving it that way because I usually don't do that. My mom was fast asleep and my sister was staying at her dad's place for the night. To my horror, I saw a small figure watching me from the entrance of my room. It looked like a dense shadow. I'm not sure quite how else to explain it. Slightly propping myself up on one elbow, I spoke out my little sister's name, thinking it was probably her. I thought maybe she had changed her mind and had been dropped off during the middle of the night. Then suddenly, the being rushed up to my bedside in the blink of an eye and moved alarmingly close to my face. Terrified, I found myself staring into a face with no discernible nose or eyes and a gaping wide mouth. Where the eyes were meant to be were dark holes, from what I could remember anyway. I'm really not too sure. My body froze in horror. Moments passed with just that creature and me in the room, gazes transfixed on each other's faces. Eventually, I was able to snap out of the frozen state my body had taken on in fright, and I flailed and kicked at the thing until it suddenly dissipated with a blood-curdling sound that reminded me of an anguished scream of some sort. I heard it out loud and deep within my head, if that makes sense. It made my hair stand on end and my heart beat alarmingly fast. To this day, I have no idea what it was. A demon of some sort? I don't know what it wanted. It was terrifying, and every so often I catch glimpses of shadow-like people/creatures from my peripheral vision. Many times I've awoken from sleep for someone calling my name, and it's usually a man or someone who sounds a lot like me. Even when I'm not asleep, I sometimes hear whoever it is calling my name, and occasionally I can feel something touching me that I cannot see, end quote. So it seems this is still happening for this witness, and if I knew him personally, I would advise him to find out what exactly the alleged quote-unquote violent history of this house is, and then act accordingly with either an exorcism or whatever it is that's needed before further advising him to get he and his mother the hell out of there. These are the types of cases that I'm always looking to report on, whether it be in my books or in these videos or even just generally, because science is working so hard to just explain away the very real phenomenon of people being attacked during sleep paralysis as some kind of trick of the mind or trick of the brain. And in some cases, that could very well be what's happening. But in thousands of cases across the world over, sorry guys, I'm not buying it. So these cases where the person is awake and thinking very coherently are the ones I really like to try and focus on when presenting my research to you guys. The next one I'm going to just let the witness/victim explain, because I could only find this quote. Like, this quote is the story. There was no beforehand information for context or what happened after. It was just this. The victim said, quote, "I was lying in my bed and remember sitting up and seeing 3 figures standing in my room with a dimly lit blue light coming from somewhere that was illuminating them. I don't remember what exactly they said, or rather he said, because the one in the middle was speaking directly to me. I remember his mouth opening in a very inhuman way, with the jaw extending further back than it should have been able to. Their mouth and eyes were black, not like a solid black, but a smoky type of black, a sort of gray, but you could still recognize teeth and such. I remember them saying something about coming in a few days or something. I don't remember what it was exactly. I then remember passing back out and actually waking up, and seeing some dark form dart across the room and hover directly over my bed. My bed is in a corner, so it was sitting/hovering between the wall and I, about a 4-inch gap at the time. I then felt a very, very intense sense of dread and heaviness throughout my entire fiber and being, and remember feeling this for a few minutes while I was just sitting there, my back turned to it," end quote. That one seemed more extraterrestrial to me, but again, without more info or anything before or after the encounter for context or, to give it a little more information, I can't really be sure. Our next encounter is from another person who awoke with a start in the middle of the night, but who had absolutely no grogginess or confusion as she did so. So she just woke up and was completely and immediately coherent. I believe this is our consciousness being aware that we are in extreme danger and supernaturally overriding the way our body normally works for the preservation of possibly our lives or our souls. This one happened to a woman, but when she was just a young girl of 12 years old, and here is what she described. Quote, "I woke up suddenly and fully alert. I was laying on my back, and when I opened my eyes, they met another set of eyes. Outside, sitting in the tree beyond the fence, was what I can only describe as a demon. It's fully fixed on me, and it's not moving. The eyes reminded me of a cat's, huge, with elongated pupils, yellow, and very iridescent. The body was not large, pretty lean, and dark, scaly skin. It was sitting with its legs pulled up to its chest, kind of crouched. This visual has stayed with me so vividly for my entire life. Over 20 years have passed, and I could still see it like it was right in front of me. I felt scared and threatened inside of myself. We maintained eye contact for what seemed like a very long time, and I don't remember breaking eye contact, saying anything, seeing it move. It seems kind of like I just fell back asleep at some point, but kind of doubt that that's how it really went. I just knew it wasn't a dream. It was far too real, end quote. This witness goes on to allege that all this time later, and she still passes out at the exact same time every single Christmas Eve, and has since this encounter so long ago. So she said more than 20 years ago, and apparently it happened on Christmas Eve. This is far from abnormal, though, when it comes to grown adults remembering things so incredibly vividly that happened to them decades earlier, and when they sometimes should have been far too young to remember anything at all. It's like in the realm of the supernatural, demonic, or even unexplained, our child minds are so very believing without the conditioning most of us grow up with that it's near impossible to convince an adult they're misremembering something like this, despite how long ago it happened, and also to convince a child they aren't remembering anything but a dream. Our next witness says she was about 8 or 9 when this happened while she was visiting her grandmother's house. Quote, I was sleeping in my grandma's bed when I woke in the middle of the night cold. I looked out the bedroom door into the kitchen and saw a manly figure. I assumed it was my dad, but then I saw what I thought was long hair. It was like a shadow, black, but like outlined in a glowing white, and it had red eyes. I was scared to death and afraid it would see me. It was looking in the other direction, straight on, as if looking at or for something. I went under the covers and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, my sister told me that that same night, she felt an uncomfortable presence in the house, and then I told her what I saw. My dad, being a skeptic, said I was dreaming and tired, but man, I was wide awake. And my mom's side of the family has had numerous paranormal experiences, so at least she believed me, end quote. There are so many encounters of phenomenon just like this, as many of you have either heard about or witnessed, and I could sit here all day, every day for months on end, and still not even get out all of my own encounters with the strange and bizarre entities I've personally encountered and the things that I've seen, especially as a child, that have since terrified me and never left my mind. However, in keeping it just to instances that happen either while trying to sleep or in the middle of the night after being startled awake or otherwise suddenly woke up, everyone wants to mention sleep paralysis, and this really freaking frustrates me. I'll be discussing it a little bit in my next book, but I'm still up in the air about it because I know there are entities and energies that definitely come in the night and attack or otherwise hurt, terrorize, feed off, and traumatize us as well. It's not all science, guys. It's not all paranormal either. So sleep paralysis, or as it's now more commonly being referred to in this community, old hag syndrome, is, in its most basic explanation, when a person who is asleep wakes in an allegedly half-dreaming state with the mind very active and awake, but with the body still under the influence of sleep chemicals, which do and are still in those moments keeping us paralyzed and in a sleep or dream state. Though we aren't. It's said to be caused by a disrupted or messed up REM cycle. So REM is the dream state of sleep, and what happens is with all of this going on, we're stuck essentially in a kind of state where we are lucid and awake, but yet also in a nightmare state. Why a nightmare, not a dream, you ask? I'm not exactly sure, but I would definitely believe that it's because we are now, due to this extreme set of circumstances, aware of what's really going on around us while we're sleeping. However, scientifically, it's said to be because we are completely helpless and unable to move, and it causes us this kind of paranoid terror and hallucinations. Whatever you want to call it, sleep paralysis or something entirely different and terrifying / paranormal, it's not rare by any means. I want to say here, though, that it seems to be becoming less and less rare as the years roll by, and I don't believe in coincidence like that, or really at all. How come as the world seems to grow more and more evil, at least in my unique perspective, and in most of yours, considering you're almost all at least empathic, we are all experiencing more and more of these terrifying things happening to us in the dead of night while we're trying to sleep? If it was purely scientific, then wouldn't it have been common across the board, meaning across the ages? I don't know. This subject really aggravates me, so I'm going to move on. So the estimate right now is that up to 50% of people in the world will experience sleep paralysis at least once in their lives. Let me know below if you've never experienced it, because so far Ray is the only person I know who hasn't. The result is always absolutely traumatizing and full of horror and fear. Here is what one person reported while having what they believe to be a sleep paralysis episode. Quote, I have a few different quote-unquote sleep paralysis demons. The demon ones are the usual shadowy figures standing over me or by my bedroom door. The worst one was while I was lying on my side with my back to the door, and it felt like someone got into bed behind me, under the covers, and they put their arms around my waist. Then it felt like they were cuddling into me, and I could feel their breath on my neck. It felt like they cuddled me for about half an hour. All this time, I'm trying not to show that I'm panicking because it feels like I'm getting cuddled by a skeleton with claws. It was only about the second, maybe third time I'd had sleep paralysis, so I nearly had a heart attack when this thing feels like it's moving in closer to kiss me behind my ear. Worst of all, it whispered, quote, "Not yet. You're not ready yet. I'll come back when you are," end quote. To me, it sounded disappointed and excited. It felt like it was silently telling me it meant that it was coming back when I was about to die. Scared the effing poop out of me, end quote. So the mention of the sleep paralysis demon specifically here should be the answer to so many of you who have been asking me to explain the title of my up and coming third book, which should be out mid-September, and that I've entitled Shadow Entities Beyond the Sleep Paralysis Demon. Basically meaning I don't really want to talk about the science. So this old hag or demonic entity is always said to be present during these episodes, and the witness I just quoted had a fairly usual encounter when it comes to such things. Most people, though, like myself, refuse to simply accept this so-called scientific explanation for something they are absolutely sure they were wide awake for. Some people weren't even sleeping when it happened, and even more have reported having been walking around at the time the encounter begins, like going to the kitchen to get a dish, right, out of the sink or whatever.
Like not
this leads many, myself included, as I stated earlier in the video, to believe that sleep paralysis is a medical condition and happens as the scientists say it does, but that in more cases than not, it's actually something paranormal, demonic, supernatural, otherworldly, or even extraterrestrial that's happening while we are wide awake and then made to feel as though we were initially asleep. Does that make sense? Take this last encounter as an example and tell me if you can honestly say that sleep paralysis is a reasonable and rational explanation for it, all right? It happened while the witness says he was awake and sitting up in bed in his room. He says, quote, "I swore it was wearing like a hood, even though it was shadowy and its shape was ominous, but obviously humanoid.
So
I couldn't tell much else about its appearance because it was dark, and because my reaction to fear like that is not to stare intently at what I'm looking at. I watched as the shadowy figure slowly skirted the outside of the room before it cut inside to be standing right alongside my bed in front of my face. Here's what it did. It opened the door to my room and then shut it. And then it kind of hung out near the door at the edge of the room for a hot minute. At that point, I started breathing loudly and unevenly.
They're getting some really bad sound,
storms, a lot of rain. With some background, I get sleep paralysis semi-often, usually attached to naps, but never before have I experienced anything resembling this," end quote. So what do you guys think? Encounters with demons or extraterrestrials?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think some people do suffer from like a paralysis.
That's all I have for you today, guys.
Your mind does stir a lot when you're kind of frozen.
And spread the love by sharing this video. Check us out on Wednesday nights, myself and Ghost Dragon, right here on this channel from 7:15 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. doing live intuitive oracle, where I pull one card for anyone who comes in. I'll leave a link to one of the videos in the description box if you want to check it out. Come and hang out with us. That's Eastern time, okay? What's personal intuitive oracle? Well, if you'd like a personal reading from me, hit me up at GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com or moonbearoracle@gmail.com. Also, guys, the website is now officially on its way and being set up. So I'm opening my business. Gemma Jade Oracles is coming, and I can't wait.
Stop it. Then I have to get in. Is he still going? Let me break the one sec. And we'll see about another one here in a minute. How's everybody doing that's popping in and kind of going? All I ask is if you hit the like button, please, if you're coming and going. Gemma will appreciate it. It is her channel. And like I said, we just do this for fun, give people a place to hang out, like I do on Wednesday nights. Kind of take a break from the news and the politics. That's why we try to keep, most of that stuff. It's hard to do paranormal without religion, but in most parts we try. So, and that includes politics too, just so everybody can kind of be on the same floor, as one might say. Anyways, enough of that crap. I'm going to go ahead and get the next one up. I was thinking about doing a double feature that she did a while back ago. Pretty good one. I had it marked. Now it's not marked anymore. I hate that. Okay, come on. Where are you? I just had you marked. And once again, I hope everybody's having a good weekend. Hope everybody has a good Sunday coming and going. Let me see. I know a lot of people are keeping up with the craziness right now, so I get that. So where is it? I know I'm getting close because I just had it. Like I said, I had it marked. Oh, hope. I know I'm coming up to it now. Where's my marker? I hate that. You can probably hear somebody else's TV. I don't know what's going on. I don't think that's my son's TV. Dang it, I had it marked. Okay, wait. I know I'm going too far now. Okay. It was only 2 years old. Yeah, my mark is gone. I had it marked. Dang it. That's what I try to get, what I get when I download a bunch of them to do for this. Okay. I'm getting close. I don't know if I was finding something good. Is that one? Yeah, now we're getting closer. I can't believe my mark came on. I had it tagged. Here's the one double feature. Should be the other one because I did one already. It was about demons and stuff. So I want to do that one. Kind of go with my background. There we go. Nope, that's not it either. That's one of them I'm going to do. I was doing some of her double features. Poopy. I'm going to do some more of her high strangeness too. Kind of start mixing them back in. Okay, 1 second here. I had it tagged and it's gone. Why did it do that? I hate that. It's like every time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm the only one here anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know if I am or not. There's 3 of us. Hold on, folks. Talking chat. I know you guys are. Usually I have it quicker than this, but not this time. It's going to be a pain in my butt. I didn't think it was that old. No, it's not that old. Pope. This is what happens. I'm going to find a different way to tag these because I lose it every time. Okay, one more try here as I scale upward. I don't want to keep too much hair, so that's why I'm still rambling. Let's see if I can find these. There we go. There's that one. One second. Sorry for the delay here. I did it. I actually had one tagged, and it happens every time. This is the first time it's been this bad that I can't find. Maybe it wasn't as old as I thought. I kind of flew through. There we go. No, that's not the one, but we may do that one anyway. That's an awful long one. No, I just want to keep it simple. So we'll go back down. I'll just pick one until I find the one I had marked. I can't believe I did that. Let's do creepy, tall, pale humanoid creatures. It's a nice long one. About 36 minutes. Always, like I said, a lot of the stuff at the end is no longer active. So here we go. And if you have a problem with the sound, please let me know, okay? Wait, stop, Gemma. This must have been, yeah, it was when she was at her mom's. Okay. Let me get you shared. Hello, folks. I'm back. Hold on. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it does that to me. It does it every stupid time. I must figure out a different way to do this. I think I'm just going to do a download of the ones I'm going to do on a separate thing. That way I can just go straight to them. I'm figuring this out. It took long enough. Okay, there we go. There it is. Let's make it big. Make sure I'm good, because I always put up in the center. There we go. That way you guys see her more than you need me. And let's do this.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing
welcome those coming and going.
Between the experiences I've been having my entire life, and now with all of the work I'm doing, and have been for the last few years in the area of paranormal and supernatural phenomenon, I've had to come to and deal with the realization that
going on out in the world.
much of it, there simply are no real or definitive answers.
So that's
it
good.
comes with the territory. The
topic enjoy those here. Enjoy, relax. It's about 36 minutes
that
long.
I keep seeing and receiving emails and reports about more often now than ever before. People claim to be having encounters with them all over the world, all of the time nowadays, and it terrifies yet fascinates me, like so much of what I cover here on this channel and in this community with you guys. These very tall and extremely pale humanoids seem to be in a class of high strangeness all their own. So let's jump right in and maybe get to know a little bit more about them. Our first witness said he was driving somewhere on a remote and desolate back road near the Canadian-American border when he had a terrifying and quite odd encounter with one of these things. Things is the only real way that I can describe it. And of course he was driving on a desolate back road, right? It was around 4 in the morning and he was driving home from a friend's house. It wasn't a very hard or long trip by any stretch of the imagination, but there was about a 10-minute time period where he would be driving through a rugged, pitch black, and dense forested area. He was driving along at his usual rate of speed on the night in question, and we all can relate to this, I'm sure. We've all done this at one point or another, I think. I know that when I'm familiar with an area, even one that may be considered a bit more dangerous than most other places where I'd be driving, I'm not as careful as I should be because it's almost like I'm driving it out of habit. That was what our witness was initially doing in the forested area, but almost immediately he came super close to hitting a deer and this spooked him. So he slowed down and took it extra slow for the rest of the drive through the pitch dark blackness. He was paying extra attention to the road and really taking his time, but something popped into his vision from out of the darkness ahead that still haunts him to this day. He said of it, quote, "As I approached the exit of the forest, there was a left curve in the road and an adjacent dirt road with a white wooden fence lining it going up a hill to what I would imagine would lead to someone's property/home. As I was making the turn, I saw something in my headlights, my brights, at the edge of the fence. It was a tall, pale, milky white creature with a bald head. Its eyes reflected back, clothesless. Its arms and legs just as white as its bald head. I saw it for a second or two as it made a move to dive behind the fence. I braked and backed up slowly and pointed my lights at the fence, looking for any kind of movement. I was parked on the highway, which was abandoned at 5 a.m. My heart was racing, and I didn't know why. I must have sat there for a minute before I calmed down, didn't see any movement, and decided I better not go and investigate, or maybe I become a missing person, and continued my journey home. To this day, I still wouldn't have gotten out to investigate unless I had a weapon or something with me. So the only description I have of this thing is tall, pale, bald, and human-like features, but no noticeable hair or eyebrows," end quote. That sounds utterly terrifying. I don't think I would have gotten out of the car, but being a medium, I wonder if I would have gotten something from it remotely, from inside my vehicle. Like sometimes I do, like virtually, maybe not, but I did wonder when I went through this. This sounds somewhat like a ghoul, but taller and more pale white than gray. Also, I immediately started to wonder about the pale crawlers and their ability to maybe possibly stand up. This is, of course, all just speculation that ran through my mind as I read through this encounter. Let's take a look at some more encounters and see if maybe something more familiar pops up as we go through them. Our next witness was driving in upstate New York on December 25th, 2007. It was Christmas night. He was on his way to visit a friend in a very rural and gated community. As he drove up to the area where his friend lived, he said, quote, "I reached a section of road that had barren fields on either side and woods set back. Houses were probably nestled back into the trees. As I drove, I noticed what looked like something walking up ahead on the opposite side of the road, coming in my direction. Mind you, I was still going about 20 miles per hour the whole time, so it was probably less than a minute by the time the walker came into clear view. I got a quick scan of it from my windshield before my car and it were exactly parallel. This is what I saw. It was not a person. It stood on two long legs with long arms hanging down from its shoulders. It was strong looking, lean, muscular, but not beefy in stature. It looked thin at the same time. It stood at least 7 feet tall. It was light colored, not sure whether it was white, tan, yellow,
I don't know,
or
the
grayish.
hair crawlers I
It
saw
didn't appear to have fur, but there was some texture to the skin. It wasn't smooth.
There was one
There appeared to be
really
something
tall
coming
one.
down off its back. I don't know what
I'm not
this
sure
was.
if that
All I
was
can
an
recall
actual
about its
hair
face is
crawler,
the small
but man,
features it had, but the mouth and
he was
jaw were
creepy.
noticeably larger. And it had two pointed things atop its head. Two things going straight upward with something mingled between the two things. That's what I got from a quick scan and from my observation of it as it neared my car and my car neared it. As my car became parallel to it within a split second, I went from looking at my windshield to looking at it from my driver's side window. In that moment, its face quickly peered down at me, and all I remember was the mouth opened wide. Out came a remarkable scream that I'll never forget. Gives me the chills just thinking about it. It consisted of a high-pitched shrill/shriek, enveloped by a deep guttural growl. Both sounds happened simultaneously in that scream. I kept driving all the while. This was all happening so fast that I didn't even have a chance to be scared or shocked or anything. I continued driving and went past my friend's house and just drove home. Called him to tell him what happened and that I just needed to get back. I was probably running on adrenaline to get back home. Later on, I was in total shock after it sank in. Had my driver's side window been fully opened, it would have touched me or worse, taken me. I'm certain of that. To this day, I still haven't worked out what this was. End quote. Maybe we should call these things the pale walkers as opposed to pale crawlers, right? Could they be one and the same? I wonder if this second encounter just saw a lot more detail due to the proximity to the creature and the longer length of time he was able to get a look at it, or if this one was that much different than the first witness's encounter. I'm not sure, but I wish I knew because things like that are what haunt me at the end of the day. So this one had two spike-like things on its head, but with something in between the spikes and something coming off its back. I assumed he meant the top of the back, so that more than likely leaves out the chance that it was a tail. But again, how would I even know that? And making assumptions could be one of the most dangerous things someone could do when investigating the supernatural and or paranormal. It's just not a good idea. Next, I'm bringing you a case that I found on Phantoms and Monsters, and it comes from Scotland. This is how wide stretched and far reaching this phenomenon is, guys. It's all over the place. Like I said in the beginning, it's happening all over the world and seems to be being reported a lot more often lately than ever before. That's not to say that people weren't seeing these things all along, just now the reports are much more accessible. This witness said he and some friends were just walking home from a park one night when something terrifying happened. He said, quote, "Me and my friend were walking around a massive park in my town and it was around 11 p.m. We were just walking around having a smoke and a laugh, being teenagers and stuff. By this point, it was pitch black. There were no lights on in the park, and I'm a bit on edge because I'm not keen on the dark. And I was kind of paranoid from the weed, but I'm just going to cut to the interesting part. So me and my friend, let's call him Sam, walked towards the actual swing park within the park, and we're like 10 feet from the park. There's this unexplainable rancid smell that physically caused us to gag. We joke and say something about it being from this girl in school we didn't like and headed back to the park. The smell is only getting stronger, and I glance over at the small wall surrounding the park. There is a bench, and squatting behind the bench, at least 5 foot tall, squatting, was what looked like a freakishly tall guy. He appeared to be naked and hairless. We both kind of stared for a minute before looking at each other as if to say, yo, you can see that too, right? And then the thing started laughing like a 4-year-old girl. We got the F out of there and ran like our lives depended on it and went home. We just laughed it off and kind of forgot about it. At least Sam forgot about it. But it was weeks ago and I'm still spooked and refuse to go near the park after dark, end quote. Wow. That's almost all I can say about that one. The fact that it giggled at the end there and in the voice of a 4-year-old girl makes it tremendously more terrifying and creepy, in my opinion. So there was a part there that was a little bit confusing to me. I think what he was saying, he said, quote, the swing in the park, end quote, but in the same sentence, he said, quote, we were about 10 feet from the park, end quote, but then he said they walked to the park. I don't know. I just knew someone was going to notice it and put it in the comments. That's a teenager for you, and that's really not relevant to the encounter, except that it's hard to picture in my head where they were as far as proximity to the creature. I was wondering from the very beginning when the smell aspect of it all was going to come in. Once again, just as with the pale crawlers, there is a foul odor with these things. I find that one little detail is coming up more and more in encounters with all different kinds of entities lately. Because the thing was crouching behind the bench, they didn't get the best look at it, but to estimate that it was approximately 5 foot tall while squatting, now that's incredible. I know it's different for me due to the fact of how familiar I am able to get with 98% of entities, spirits, ETs, and other energies I come across, but it bugs me that no one is even trying to seek out further answers while in the presence of these things. Not that I'm encouraging you guys, but I mean, how many of you would want to know more and just go for it? And on the other hand, how many of you would run in fear and possibly regret it for the rest of your lives? No judgment, of course, but let me know in the comments below, please, which one you would be more apt or inclined to do. At least as far as what you think, because we always think that we may or may not, or definitely would or wouldn't act a certain way in a certain situation. And more than likely, we have no idea until we're actually in it, right? That's being human. So far, these creatures have been encountered on desolate back roads in the middle of the night and in a dark place. All places where the witnesses were quickly able to flee in order to get away from the terrifying entities. But what happens when it's much closer to someone's home and they're stuck with not only the memory of what happened to them every single time they look around them, but also when they have to be where they saw the thing all the time? Basically, that makes it almost inescapable. A witness who calls himself Keanu said his encounter happened late one night while he and a friend were hanging out at his house. Throughout the whole night, they both kept hearing random, strange, and somewhat creepy noises coming from just outside. The noises weren't the usual noises outside that Keanu and his friend were used to, and it creeped them out a little bit, even though they didn't go and investigate right away. I can understand that too, because sometimes it's just easier to brush things like strange noises off as non-issues. They decided it was most likely some animal they just weren't familiar with and tried to forget about it. However, as they kept hearing the noises and as they got more intense, the two young men ended up eventually going outside to investigate. They just couldn't leave it alone, and that makes me wonder, like I do with almost everything else, if they were somehow, and for whatever reason, lured in some way and made literally unable to let it go. Makes perfect sense in my mind, knowing as we do how most evil and malevolent entities and things feed off of our negative emotions, with fear being the most intense. Perhaps they want to be spotted, even if just a little bit, by human beings so that they get a big old heaping helping of our fear energy. It isn't like the fear dissipates or disappears right away, and therefore, especially and more so when it's in or close to someone's home, they could feast for possibly weeks off of just one little sighting. What do you guys think? So the guys stepped outside to have a cigarette and see if they saw or noticed anything that could be making the strange noises. And Keanu said of what happened when they went to go investigate, finally, quote, "My friend began moaning in what I can only describe as pure primal fear. So I began asking him what, and suddenly my dog started barking. I looked to the right off the small porch and saw a tall, extremely thin, ghostly pale creature. It was a horrid humanoid figure. I only saw it for a moment before I heard the rocks under it scatter, moving like someone was moving inhumanly fast over them. It was gone over the fence into the green belt behind my house in a split second. I'd say it was perhaps 7 feet tall and humanoid in how it looks. I theorized that the creature was on top of my roof before, as there is no other way to describe the sounds we heard or how the creature appeared so silently and so suddenly," end quote. I had to really sit and think about this one, guys. So Keanu said that he thought that the entity came from the roof because of the noises. So I guess that's where they seem to be coming from at first. But I mean, what kind of animal hangs out on someone's roof making all kinds of strange noises? It's not that I don't believe the story, because I do believe it, and I do believe it very much. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bringing it to you right now. But I just wonder what led him to that initial conclusion. Secondly, I'm assuming, due to some of the things he said, that there was a gravel driveway or a lot of gravel around otherwise, but I wonder, how did they not hear it land then? Also, could it move silently, but it just wanted to make it known that it was there, either to feed off of the fear of these two kids or for some other unknown and unimaginable reason? I don't know why, but maybe it's due to the fact that I can't shake the feeling that these things are some sort of distant cousin from the pale crawlers. I know. Sorry, I need to let it go. But that did surprise me more than anything how quickly Keanu claimed the entity was able to move and make its great escape. If that's the case and they can move as quickly as he said it did, then they're definitely making themselves visible because they could easily get somewhere to hide fast enough for no one to be able to see them, right? I mean, even the one from the first encounter that waited until it was seen first before it tried hiding behind the fence, and then the other one we discussed that half-heartedly tried to hide itself allegedly behind a small bench, it stands to reason, at least in my opinion, that they do this for effect and nothing more. They might want to see or feed off of our reactions, mainly, I say again, the fear more than anything else, but maybe the shock too. Who knows? Maybe they get a kick out of watching humans flee confused and terrified just by setting their sights on them. So back to Keanu. He said that he believes the encounter he and his friend had that night at his house could possibly be connected to something else that happened to one of his other friends. He said his friend was either hanging out in or walking through a tunnel of sorts when he had his frightening encounter. At first, it sounded weird that someone would just be chilling in a tunnel, but then I remembered where I partially grew up in Ridgewood, New Jersey. There's a train station that has a series of tunnels underneath it, underground, that I used to have to walk through all of the time as a teenager and young adult because it made my trip, wherever I was going, that much shorter. I would take the shortcut through the tunnel, and sometimes I did it alone, and never without terror, though. If you'd like another video of some of my personal experiences, then let me know. All right, so Keanu believes his friend's encounter and his encounter were connected somehow. He said it wasn't unusual for teenagers to go into the tunnels, and when they did, they always expected to be scared about something or other. This tunnel was located in a rural and wooded, very isolated area, and usually there wasn't anyone else there. He says of what happened to his friend, quote, "A couple of my friends decided to investigate further into the tunnel out of curiosity. You must also make note that they claim this happened a while before my initial experience occurred. They walked deep into the tunnel for probably 10 to 15 minutes. At a certain point later in the tunnel, flashlights are completely necessary. Once that happens, it stoops down. They said there were noticeable amounts of feces that had questionable explanation as to how it all got there, with signs that the tunnel could be inhabited, but by something that couldn't simply be an animal. This is also in a suburban area where homeless people or addicts are extremely uncommon." So you think. "This tunnel in particular, I know for a fact no man will want to take up residence, especially with a small amount of water running through it. They reached a part in the tunnel where it got even lower, and above where it drops down is painted 'Welcome to Hell,' coincidentally. There, they say they saw a tall, pale figure hunched in a way so that it took up most of the height of the tunnel, but was noticeably gaunt and thin. And at that point, they claim to have even seen it move, and they turned tail and frantically sprinted down the tunnel with no regard for the water or the darkness. Given the description of what they witnessed, I would say that these two incidents are likely connected, and the creature in question is likely to be the same one in each story, especially given the vicinity in which they occurred. We now theorize that the creature witnessed at my house dwells in the tunnel during the day and prowls at night. We don't go near the tunnel anymore. I don't think there's a way that this could be a coincidence," end quote. Could these things be some sort of vampire gone wrong, like in the American Horror Story double feature? Has anyone else seen that? If you're talented, you take the black pill and become more talented, rich and famous. But if you have no talent and only think you do, then you turn into a blood-crazed, pale, strange, bald thing. I don't know. That's just what this whole thing made me think of. There are a few somewhat irrelevant things here, but I'll just mention the one. How is it that someone vandalized the tunnel with graffiti, but it would also be unusual for someone to be dwelling or hanging out down there? Just curious. And again, I don't disbelieve what he is claiming. Just some of it I feel may have been embellished to make his claims seem more believable in his own mind. So, is it reasonable to think as well that paranormal and supernatural entities poop the way human beings do, and poop what human beings poop? Why would it poop where it lives? I'm being facetious, but of course, in all seriousness, could it be that these things are somewhat and somehow vampiric, as in the blood drinking, darkness dwelling kind, but they're wrong somehow, and that's why they look the way they do and are left to their own devices like this? So far, we've only come across encounters with solitary entities, so I'm wondering if that's just kind of how these things roll. If they're as fast moving as Keanu originally claimed, though, and if this was in fact the same entity due to how it looked in the alleged close proximity from the tunnel where it was first encountered to his house where he and another friend came across it a little while later, why didn't it give chase? Does that completely eradicate my bloodsucker theory? Maybe it does, and I guess the energetic type of vampire probably makes more sense here, but I really don't know. Let's move on. There's another report that I found on Phantoms and Monsters where the encounter happened at the person's home, right on their property in Durham, North Carolina, United States. Our witness said his entire family had left and gone visiting with a relative, so he had the whole house to himself. He was looking forward to some alone time in peace and quiet, but that's the last thing he ended up getting, at least by the end of the night. He stayed up late and everything was normal up until he decided to bring his dog out one more time before bed. It was around midnight, and he said of what happened next, quote, "I took her out the back garage door with her long leash. I was wearing socks and didn't feel like getting them soaked. She usually does her business in that little clearing between the kennel and the garage, so I let her walk down through it. Our garage has a single light on the back wall, not LED, not really bright, so I can see her somewhat well while she does it. She was facing me when suddenly her backside lifted almost 1 or 2 feet into the air. Paranormal or not, I effing screamed at this. I assumed some wild dog or something was trying to grab her. She runs back to me and I hear rustling among the rocks, and this figure stops right as it enters a visible view in the light. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It was tall. I'm 6'2" and I had to look slightly up to see where I thought its head was. It was pale, but not white or gray, just normal pale flesh color, like someone who spends a week or 2 indoors. It was lanky, not really anorexic or anything, but definitely disproportionate. It looked at me for a good 1 to 2 seconds before it backtracked in the quickest manner I could never replicate. As soon as it went, I booked it back inside. I was torn about calling the police if neighbors who had heard my scream hadn't. Behold, half an hour later, the police arrive in my driveway. I told them I had seen a man in the backyard, leaving out the whole tall demon shit going on. I have been contemplating whether it was some creature or some NBA-bound nude meth head. Once again, I don't count myself as a believer in the Bigfoot or Mothman, but I really don't know what the F happened. I'm most definitely not taking the dog out alone anytime soon." End quote. This is what I mean when I ask if this is an actual vampire or perhaps something similar that I haven't thought of or that we aren't even aware of yet, that something went wrong with somehow. Like, it seems like they might change in phases or stages. This one may have been less sick or starved or whatever is happening to them than the other ones we covered here today. Let's not forget that only one witness described the spikes on the head with the thing in between them and something protruding from its back. That's not to say there aren't more, and in fact, I'm 100% certain that there are more than we could ever know about yet of those types of things as well. I'm just saying, to me at least, this all seems kind of like they're phasing from one thing to another. It may very well be, too, that they start off as human, but there is where the question of what's happening to them comes in and why. Are these supernatural or paranormal creatures, or are they human beings undergoing some sort of supernatural or paranormal transformation? I'm sure I don't know, but I can't wait to hear what you all have to say in the comments below. Just like with almost everything involving what happens when we encounter strange entities from who knows where, who would we even call? Was this one trying to take the witness's dog? It seems that way. Maybe it didn't know the human was out there because he did describe a long leash and hanging back in the garage area due to it being wet outside and him not wanting to get his socks soaked. Is it a sort of cryptid that eats flesh and maybe blood, and would it do the same to an unsuspecting and lone human, as I'm pretty sure it was about to do to that dog? While it seems to me that the one in the last encounter was possibly surprised by the sight of the human and fled when it saw him, it seems like the others were purposely showing themselves and making it very obvious that they were there, when it's also very obvious that they have the ability to get away quickly enough instead of just haphazardly hiding behind one thing or another. There's a report I came across from the UFO Reporting Center that is scarily similar to the encounter we just went over. Once again, the entity was encountered in the person's backyard, and this time it happened in Cheyenne, Wyoming. It was the fall of 2004, and our witness is a self-described mother and housewife. She was watching television in her living room one night as both of her daughters were each in their own room inside of the home. The family's 2 dogs suddenly seemed to be very bothered and agitated, and there was no immediate reasonable explanation as to why they were suddenly behaving the way that they were. Our witness claimed that her dogs are normally very well behaved, quiet, and even docile, at least the majority of the time. The dogs were both standing in front of the dining room windows, chasing their own tails and barking somewhat maniacally and incessantly. She decided to get up and try to see what had them so wound up because, again, she says it was very unusual behavior for them. The dining room window where the dogs were now gathered looked out into the backyard of the home. Our witness got up and walked over to open the door in order to see if anything was there that could explain the odd behavior and also kind of to show the dogs that whatever it was had gone. She was possibly assuming it was just some sort of regular animal that had the dogs behaving so strangely. She certainly didn't expect what happened next. As soon as she opened the door, she said it all happened so fast. She continued with, quote, "As I opened the door, the dogs barged past me as they usually do when they are excited, i.e. to chase a bunny through the fence. On this occasion, they hooked around the door to cross to the back of the house. I took a step out, keeping my hand on the doorknob of the storm door. They had stopped between my two patios shoulder to shoulder and barking hysterically, defensive and afraid at the same time. I saw in front of them standing inside my privacy fence what looked like a bald-headed teenager. I was thinking to myself, hey, what's this tall, skinny, pale, white, bald teenager doing in my backyard? And just then, it turned to look at us just enough to show its right eye. It had big, black, elongated, upslanting eye. It then turned to its left and vanished on the spot. The dogs then ran to the spot where it stood, sniffing the ground. Now, I didn't get any supportive reactions from family or friends, so for the last 2 years, I've just put it out of my mind as best as I could. I would raise the issue now and then, but when I hear reports on the news like a sighting over Chicago O'Hare Airport, etc., I am reminded of my encounter. The surprise scared me so bad I had to do Lamaze breathing to slow my heart rate down. I did not imagine this. I recall feeling I should look fast as it had no earlobes, no visible nose from my vantage point. It stood right shoulder to us, long arms, long fingers, but I did not count them. I don't recall its feet, but it either wore a skin-tight jumpsuit similar to skin color. I saw a shiny object on its upper left chest. All I could think was, I'm going to die of a heart attack and no one will know what I just saw. I witnessed some paranormal activity in the years past, and I have to wonder if the incidents are related. It is a mystery. I am certain that we are not alone in the universe, but the public seems to be desensitized to this subject as though a disinformation program has been at work since Roswell. People just think a person isn't well if we've had this experience and won't believe it until they see it for themselves. I had always said the universe is so vast, we can't be the only life there is, but I'm left wondering why I was visited, end quote. It disappeared on site, and she is implying that it was an alien. So it didn't scurry or scuttle away. It didn't run off as quickly as possible. It didn't make any kind of overt or feeble attempt to hide itself. Maybe it was going after the dogs. I don't know. I still feel like it was purposely making itself be seen. And again, we have another bit of it. No ears, no nose. So from what this witness is implying, at least from what I understood from what she said, that these creatures, or at the very least the one that she saw, are/were extraterrestrial in nature. The way she described the eyes is reminiscent mainly of the alien greys, but also of hybrids and many other races of extraterrestrial that we come across so often here on this channel and in this community in general. Everything about this entity sounds the same as the other encounters, for the most part at least, because each encounter had something different than the others that stood out. Not a single one was exactly like any of the others. Is this another part of the transformation I was pondering earlier? Are these not vampires but hybrids gone wrong or bad? Is the end result the slinking and creeping pale crawler I've covered a couple of times on this channel, or something else altogether? Again, though, I beg the question, what do they want with us? And why are they showing themselves when they could so easily hide, or apparently from the last encounter, vanish? Could it be that perhaps they're extremely unintelligent and don't understand that a dog usually isn't out walking on its own in the backyards of residential neighborhoods for the most part? Do they not understand that calling attention to themselves enough that animals will start behaving erratically is going to bring the animal's owner out to investigate? Are they so unintelligent that they don't understand that they shouldn't be living where they poop when there's no way to get rid of the poop, like in the tunnel? Or are they intelligent enough that they know the owner is going to come running, right? That they know the dogs are going to come to them? I just don't think they're that unintelligent. And I believe there is a method to their madness and a very pointed purpose in showing themselves. But I honestly haven't a clue what that purpose is or what those purposes are. In my opinion, there's no way that they don't know exactly what they're doing. And I believe they are much older than many of the reports about them. In fact, I'm going to look and see if I can find some earlier accounts or connections to other entities with these ones. I'll get back to you guys on that one as soon as I can. Whether or not I find what I'm looking for is another story. Before we move on, I do want to discuss some of the other things this witness reported about what she noticed. She said no ears, no nose. She also said that it seemed to be wearing a jumpsuit with something on the chest where everyone else was really positively sure that the entities were naked. I'm not sure how a normal person would feel if confronted with something like this, but I can't imagine they wouldn't notice the huge alien eyes and the entity having no nose or ears. Meaning, is this just another part of the transition for this entity? Are they all different entities? Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? It's like everyone's noticing a different piece or a different, it's like the same entity, but like a little bit different. Like there's something different with each one's DNA, but they all come from the same family, like cousins or something. If these were the same creature, wouldn't this very observant woman have noticed the mouth? Remember how the other one said that the mouth was so incredibly huge? Is it another entity altogether? Are we back to it possibly being the same one, but each in a different stage of growth, transformation, or something else altogether? In May of 2015 in Dufferin County in Ontario, Canada, another person claims their friend had an encounter that also involved some canine friends. The friend lived on a farm that sat on about 100 acres of land in an extremely desolate and rural area of the county. There weren't many people around, if any at all, at any given time of day or night, meaning outside roaming or wandering. The farmhouse was being renovated at the time, which forced the alleged witness to live in a trailer on the property instead of in the house proper. One night, he was startled awake by the sound of his dogs barking incessantly and wildly scratching at the door, the screen to his trailer. He opened the door to see what in the world had his normally quiet and well-behaved dogs going crazy at that time of night. The person telling the story recounts what his friend told him had happened to him by saying, quote, "When he went to let them out, he was surprised to see bright yellow lights behind and inside the nearby barn. Thinking it was trespassers, he let his dogs loose and went to grab his rifle. He said as he was loading it, he heard his dogs go from barking to yelping to whining. They came barreling back into the trailer and proceeded to hide under the table. Thinking these people hurt his dogs, he stepped out of the trailer and fired 5 rounds into the air and began yelling as he readied another magazine. He got a response when the lights around the barn grew incredibly bright. He admits that at that point, he was pretty freaked out. He said that he stood there for a bit, staring at the lights, when he noticed 2 beings just casually walking across the field toward the barn. Apparently, when he saw them, he was hit with a mixture of confusion and fear. He describes them as humanoid, pale white, tall and thin. Having very small heads in comparison to their bodies, he also notes that they must have been 6'5", with most of that height being leg length. He stated that they moved very strangely. Their upper body seemed stiff and locked, but their legs moved very fluidly, almost bringing their knees to their chest. Understandably, fear took over him. He took aim and fired 3 rounds at the beings, which just made them completely stop moving. Then he noticed a third one to his left, very close, but walking away from his trailer. He turned around, went back inside, and went for his handguns when the light outside vanished. He sat inside his trailer with silent dogs until morning. He didn't check out the barn until 2 days later. He found nothing strange there. No burn marks, no holes, all was normal. When checking the fields, he also found absolutely nothing. He told me that he was freaked out for a while afterwards, but nothing strange has ever happened on his property since then, end quote. So what in the world, or is it something from out of this world, could we possibly be dealing with here? Is it all one thing, or is it several different things that only seem to be connected, maybe, somehow? Did anyone else think of the Slenderman entity at all during the descriptions of some of these creatures, specifically the last ones, or was that just me? Think about it. The super tall / white pale humanoid creature that's bipedal with a tiny little head. It gives me the chills just thinking about them, and the phenomenon seems to be so widespread that I can't even figure out what they are, what they're doing. I can't figure it out. It seems they are always sighted in remote locations, but that's most of the paranormal and supernatural. Even most of the time, the extraterrestrial entities we come across are always sighted in those areas too, right? I mean, there isn't really any entity like this that just walks down Main Street during rush hour or hangs out at the mall parking lot on a random Saturday afternoon. There are definitely night walkers, but beyond that, I can't make any more assumptions because I really just don't have a clue, honestly. As always, though, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, please. That's all I have for you today, guys. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Hit the like button, please. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed hanging out with me, if you just want to see me smile, spread the love by sharing this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Every Wednesday night, you will find myself and Ghostdragonzw from around 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time until we run out of people to read for, doing live intuitive oracle. I pull one random card from one random deck for whoever comes in and wants one.
Friday nights now.
But not only do you get a 1-card weekly reading for free or donation, it's also a really amazing community in there, and it's the best chat on YouTube. Hands down, I don't care what anyone says. On Thursday nights from 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you'll find myself, Ghostdragonzw, and Miss Paranormal Pixie, Lara, for chillax and chat. Come on in, hang out, same thing, every other Monday. So not the Monday this video is premiering, but the Monday after. It's myself and Ghost Dragons at noon Eastern Time, just doing Monday Madness, chilling, chatting, talking about things.
No, that's done. But hopefully we'll bring
in the description box, and
back
please check the
or something of the sorts. And I believe she has some ideas coming up.
Update a lot of the information.
Maybe parts of the summer and
find
during
links
the
to all 3 of my books,
fall when
Kindle
little
and
man goes
paperback
back to
versions
school.
on Amazon.
I know
Missing
she's
the Fae
working on
Theory,
stuff.
Encounters
So
with Evil, 100
be
true
ready.
and terrifying stories.
And
And my third and most recent.
1 second. Let me get rid of everything. There we go. And we can just chat now because I played 2 now. Yeah, he's been around. It was kind of rough, I think, that he lost his sister so close to his birthday, and I think it's kind of taking a toll on him. I don't want P. Andrew. I never forget time when that truck hit the bed. Oh yeah, I know. In fact, they were just talking about that at the gas station earlier. Yeah. I guess some guy got stuck in it too. Yeah, they took them a little bit to fix that, but they were on it fast. I got to give them credit. Stinky Pinky. Yeah, I think it took a little toll on him, and I don't blame him. He's kind of like, he doesn't understand. I mean, he had a sister in between him and his little sister, I believe. Yes, he did. And so to be the last of 10, because one passed at birth. The first one passed at birth. So the last of 9, and not even being the last one of those 9, I think you kind of caught him off guard. I told him there's a reason he's still around, so. Yeah, I remember that Kings Island bus crash, too. I remember that well. There's a lot of bad accidents lately. You be careful out there, Andrew. Don't worry about you. I do, too. I know a lot of truckers that have had a lot of troubles this year. Wrecks and being in accidents and getting stuck in wrecks and stuff. So, yeah, be careful. That's why I always ask you to be careful. And Rain Mater, in case you're still listening, it's always nice to see you stop in. I don't know if you hang around or not, but I appreciate it. She always makes a point to pop in and say something. That's sweet. Whoever you are. Appreciate it. I remember one year we went down to, make sure you get him his favorite foods. And I've been working that. He's a diabetic, so Ashley's in town, so she's gonna make him some diabetic snacks. Because I've been letting him go. The doctor told me to let him eat whatever he wants, but his sugar, I think, is bouncing a little too much, and I think that doesn't help. So I've been trying to tighten it up a little bit for him. But I want him to be, happy and go lucky, and right now he's not, and it kind of bums me out, and I get it. Hopefully I can snap him out of it here soon. Yeah, so anybody in Ohio, you guys want anything good, let me know, and I'll have her make it. I will ship it to you. I'm thinking about sending Gemma cheesecake. You want a cheesecake, Edna? I'll have her make 2. I'll send you a cheesecake. She makes an awesome cheesecake. She makes what she calls cheesecakes in a jar. which are just awesome. And she's got like cookies in a jar, and you eat them right out of the jar. They're really cool. It's a great idea. Nice little independent snack. I couldn't believe when she was on base, the stuff she sells. Now, she did real good Thursday when I was there. She was selling stuff. She has a porch set up, and it's really neat how they do it there. And then the next day, she made a bunch of stuff that night, sold just about everything. And then what she does at the end of the day, the next day, I think what she does, or 2 days after, she puts everything out and says whatever you can pay for, because it's on the basis. Some people can't afford the fancy stuff or stuff like that. So she just puts it out and says, what you could pay. Most people are really good about it. It's really amazing. I make a pretty mean cheesecake. I had a friend that made, the guy that sold the werewolf with us. Said that's the one thing he could do, man. He could make a killer cheesecake. But I'm not a cheesecake guy, but I will eat it. I've been making them in cupcake form. Everyone loves them. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Here's an oldie for you. Was watching classic Cincinnati Bob Shoes Saturday Nights Primed. Really? Where'd you see that at? On a YouTube? Wow. Somebody said that Lucy's Playhouse is on YouTube somewhere too. So I have never looked, but I heard that the other day, so I may go look. It's a shame they don't do somebody didn't have the old Flipper shows on there. But every state had their own little like talk shows and movie shows. Friday nights here in Columbus, we had Fritz the Night Owl through the week. And then on Friday nights, he had Chiller Theater. He's still around. He still hangs out. We can't see you, I know. You can hear me, though, can't you? You can't hear me, right? I disappeared. Yeah, I like that. I can do that. I can make myself disappear. And you can still hear me. Ooh, creepy background. Now I muted myself. Here we go. Get myself back up here. I thought that was a good creepy background for the two I had originally picked. Second one, the one I originally picked, it was a double feature, but somehow I keep losing my tags. Every time I go to do this stream, I have tag video. Well, I'm just going to do it a whole new different way next time. If I'm around. I'm hiding. I was a ghost, Chris. No, ghosts can do that. See, now you see me. Now you don't. Ghosts can do that. That's a good trick. And I can go down here. I can go over here. WEBN Classic. Really? It is on YouTube? Holy crap. Oh, well, I'm going to have to go back and check this out. Bus full of nuns holding. I'll have to watch this later. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Chris. That's hilarious. I love the classic stuff. I always like going back. It's hard to go back. It's not good to stay. As I always say. So what's everybody got planned for their lovely Sunday? Now we're supposed to be hitting mist showers. We were supposed to be hitting mist showers today. I think it rained a little bit real early this morning before the sun came up. It's been muggy. I've been watching the radar and everything seems to be just falling around 70. In fact, they had flood warnings out until like 11:45 tonight. But they literally had a train going across 70 here in Ohio, just south, a little south of downtown. Some of the storms looked pretty like they were going to dump a lot of water in. So, has anybody else getting rain? You getting rain down there, Chris, or is it chilled out finally? Rained here off and on all day. Yeah, you see, you guys are getting the stuff. I know that they did play soccer this morning up in Jersey because of the rain. And I had to scare and complained because it was supposed to be done over with. And some lady complained, Karen, whatever you want to call them. I'll probably get in trouble for that. But complained that during the pizza party, the end game, that there was enough practices and games to make, that they paid for, so they put an extra practice in game and then it turned around the rain on the game. Rain today and Father's Day. Nah, see, we're supposed to be hit and miss. Maybe we'll get more. We could have used it earlier today. Man, it got real muggy here. But it never did. It rained for like a second, and that's all we got. Really. It hasn't done anything since. Now, it looked like it might have rained pretty hard when I got up this morning, but it didn't take long for the mugginess and the humidity to suck it up. I've been like working in and out inside and outside all day. When that thunder cracked last night, we got about 2 inches of rain real quick. We're flooding out everywhere. Oh, I know you guys are getting it really good. And you hear a crack like that, you know you're going to get a downpour. It never fails. There's very few times I've heard cracks like that shook the house where you didn't get a bunch of rain right after, a quick, good, hard downpour. But it's been a while. I mean, I call them rolling thunderstorms. They just kind of roll through. We've only had a few here. It hasn't been like in the past. Might go to my dad's grave tomorrow since it's Father's Day. It might be a nice idea, Chris. We go down to Mom's grave on Mother's Day. I think I go down one time, and I think Dad sneaks down later. I don't know if he did this year. His legs have been bothering him. I just thundered again. It just thundered again. You're talking about it. Now you got it active. Well, thank you folks for coming in. I do appreciate it. For a while, I was a little worried because I was only average 1 to 2 people. There for a while, it was just me, but it's okay. It's not almost worth being here if I have less than 3 or 4 people. But I stick around. I figured I'd watch the upload and see who pop in. It's windy there in Cheyenne. I bet it is. You guys have got fronts getting ready to come through in that area. Other than just going to watch Excalibur. Other than that, just going to watch Excalibur. I think I'm going to go out and grab a couple steaks for us and cook out if it's decent. I'm going to do yard work and stuff. My daughter actually talked about coming over making dinner, so I may get out and making dinner since Ashley's in town. So she's going to come over and visit. Kind of hoping if she does, she'll make meatloaf. She makes a good meatloaf. Dad likes meatloaf. Hers, it's done again. Wow. Mr. Magoo wasn't a bad movie for being live action. I prefer the old cartoons, though. Sometimes when they do live action, it's just not as good, but I got a few giggles out of it. And it's like that one they did with Little Rascals, the newer one they did, back in the early 90s, 2000s. I kind of like that one. It was cute. Kind of kept the same tone, which I appreciated. Oh, your landlord won't let you own grills. That sucks. But I get it. But it does suck. Not even if you put it out like in the parking lot or something. That kind of blows. My hubby's allergies are killing him. Yeah, I'm taking good stuff now, with my allergies, Edna. It's been real bad. Now, we leave our air conditioning at 74, and it's nice in here. I mean, I got a long sleeve shirt on, but I also had an incident at the gas station this morning, and I got a couple bruises. I just didn't want to show them all. But yeah, the allergies are real bad. I had to go get the good stuff. It just, we're still getting. I don't care what anybody says. Like today, when the clouds broke up and the sun tried to come out, you can still see the grayness in the sky from the fires from Canada. And every so often when it rains, you can taste it. I'm waiting for it to rain here hard because last time we had fires around us, that soot was carried all the way from California. Man, it covered our cars. It was wild. And I'm pretty sure it's from the fires, either that or from the ones in Arizona. Men's SC college basketball series going on in Nebraska every Father's Day week in June. That's wild. He sleeps with a towel. His nose is. Yeah, I actually do too. I sleep with a towel too because my nose is going. It doesn't bother me, but see, they're supposed to be 24 hours, and I don't like taking an extra one. She says having family and friends over to cook up makes the building look. Yeah, it sounds like some landlords I know. I moved Chris. I think he's right to, but he has to have a wheel. You have to have wheelchair access and all that too. And actually, Chris, John does look for you. He just hasn't stumbled across anything. That's my buddy down there by you. He runs properties, but he hasn't found anything or seen anything or knows anybody can get you into a good place that, where you could be comfortable, which kind of sucks, but he is looking. Always ask every time I talk to him. And when I talked to him last Tuesday, I asked, and he says, he's looking. So hopefully he can find you a place. And we've been looking ever since you said something, ever since I checked to see if the one place he was working on was accessible. He said, unfortunately not. He said, it'd be nice to have somebody in here to actually take care of it. But it had too many stairs and stuff. But he's looking. He's trying to find you one. You still want to stay in Klein, right? You don't get enough to move on unit. Well, it could go up when you move, though, dude. That's cost of living. Plus, if you move, they have to adjust for that. You should get more. No, actually, my disability didn't go down too much, but that doesn't go down. But I didn't want to collect it in the first place, but they wouldn't let me go back to work. I still tried talking them into let me go back to work, even part-time. They said, no. Sorry, dude. Yeah, it's insane. It's like that up here now, Chris. It's horrible. And then they have those 15-minute shops, or you live in an apartment building with a bunch of stores underneath you, and they charge you even more. Klein. No, hey, Klein. Yeah, I lived on the outskirts. Kind of lived in between Klein and, it was Fisher Klein on the outskirts there, because it was only like maybe a 15-minute drive to Harrison. It was a Klein. I believe it was a Klein address. I'll have to go look it up. And we weren't far from the movie theater there. I don't know if we still have friends there or not that live there. But yeah, I do have him looking. Now, a lot of the properties he's been looking at are like Harrison along the river. I know he has a couple properties in Harrison and around Harrison. But I don't know where they're at. He said he was going to show me next time I come down, and I'm hoping to go down this summer because I haven't seen him for a while. Excuse me, guys. In the last 2 times he came up here, so I always try to go down. I usually go down and spend a night or 2 and hang out with him. He's still running that Golden Corral or Ryan's, whatever it is. I think it's Golden Corral. I want to move to the mountains. Bray wants to move to the beach. So we are on a standoff. I personally would probably pick the mountains. I don't mind living by the ocean. It's just too many things that can go wrong by the ocean. if you think logically. But then again, the same thing can happen in the mountains too. So it's like but I'm more of a forest guy. If you can get me close to the mountains and water, I'd be happy. I like lakes and ponds, so that would make it even easier on me. I don't mind oceanfront property, just I know people that talk about the nightmares they have. So, oh yeah, unless you live on some fancy area where it's all done for you, and then you're paying a fortune. Mall is shut down, Klein Mall, and try. Did they really shut down? Holy crap! I didn't know that. That's been how long I've been since I've been in that area in Klein. Last time I went down, I stayed pretty much in Harrison. I even stayed in Harrison because I know that place, and it even changed. It was like, holy crap! It grew big time. But then again, it's been many moons, so. But I'm a mountain guy. I'd probably, if I couldn't live by a lake, I'd still like to live where it's heavily forest. And if the ocean's close, that makes it a plus. I mean, I could live by the ocean. It wouldn't bother me. $5 years ago? Really? Wow. I did not know that. In the Klein Mall. Wow. They shut down all the malls, and they were active. We have Montgomery Mall now and Bethesda. That's it. Really? They finally got rid of Northland Mall. They wiped it out. Eastland Mall is finally wiped out. Casino's across the street from it, the Hollywood Casino they built. I'm thinking they're probably going to either put in more casino or probably hotels. Somebody says they were going to put one of those 5-minute, they call them 5-minute homes, where they put the apartments on top and then a bunch of stores at the bottom, like you see in mega cities in Judge Dredd. That's basically what they're trying to do. And I think they have what they call 15-minute cities in some places where everything's right there. You shouldn't have to use your car. You should be able to walk distance or within delivery. But yeah, only thing that's left open here is Easton Mall. We do have a real nice Polaris Mall. And there's one out east that they're not old, but they're not like exactly new, but they ain't that old. They still do good business. But all the older malls pretty much gone. That's what they are doing here, leaving and no place to park. Only mall open in Cincinnati is Kenwood Tower. Oh, Tower Mall's the only one open? Wow. You go up in the Minnesota, Tim says there's still a ton of malls still open in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Though nobody goes to them because they're usually not fun. Most stores are pretty much gone out of them, from what I've understood, except for the big mega mall, American Mall, whatever it's called up in Minnesota. It's it. Well, those days are gone. Everybody shops online now. Goes to the place, Targets and Walmarts and Myers are everywhere now. I don't know if you guys have Myers. We have Myers up here. Sears and Kohl's are gone, yeah. Department stores are pretty much gone. JCPenney's was gone years ago. Lazarus years ago. Yeah, it's a shame. I want my mom and pop store back. Yeah, see, I liked Kmart. When they had their heyday, they were a great place. A lot of people made fun of you shopping at Kmart, but hey, that's where we went. That's the place I loved. Same thing with Sears and JCPenney's. Basically, the JCPenney's was basically a Target, just like Kohl's was, except Target offers a little more. Pretty sure our Kohl's is getting ready to close. It probably will. They've been hurting really bad for a while now, and I don't see them being around too much longer. Now you got grocery stores that are split, like Myers and Walmart, where you got grocery on one side and all the shopping you can do on the other. They get you anyways, and I personally like Myers better. I don't know who has Myers or not. I think they did. A lot of places have gone bankrupt. The coup really hurt a lot of places. I know that Bob Evans was devastated by it. They had built a bunch of stores and then turn around to close a bunch of stores. We have Myers since the 90s. Yeah, I thought you did down there, Chris. Yeah, it's Myers is out of Michigan. Yeah. They're actually Myers is in Michigan. They're based out of Michigan. It's a Michigan-owned company. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, they're a Michigan-owned company. Yeah, it's a shame because the fast foods, Ohio used to be, especially Columbus campus area, used to be big for test market. For like a lot of fast food places, Wendy's was test marketed, and main office is maybe a 20-minute drive from me. Unless they moved it, but as far as I know, it's still there on 161. White Castles it started, it didn't start here, but their main office is here now, and their tool and die is here. Greenville. Okay. My husband from Michigan. That's how I knew of it. We don't have them there. Yeah, I didn't think it did. Wow, it's really storming. I kind of wish it would storm here because the air is real nasty here. It's real muggy, real heavy, even though it's only like 70. Yeah, it's 70 right now. We could use the rain. I got to see this. Be right back. You're fine. Hey, Edna, did you see the pink moon? Who all saw the pink moon? I got a little glimpse of it. I couldn't use the telescope. It was just too cloudy. I was kind of bummed. And then following the last night of it, man, I couldn't get nothing. It was just so overcast. Wendy's still tests up there. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I know they do. They test a lot of their burgers here. So Burger King used to, McDonald's used to, Burger Chef when it was around used to. I used to love Burger Chef. I miss that place. TJ's they do a lot of test marketing up here. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I knew White Castles wasn't from here. I knew they were from out west. But I do know one of the main offices in their tool and die factories right here in Ohio. It's not far from me. It's down off the river. I had friends that lived across the street, about my mom and dad's age. He was one of their tool and die makers. And then the guy that lives next to them, he still lives there. He is a designer for Wendy's kitchens. He does all the design work and setups for the kitchens in Wendy's, which is pretty cool. You go with into Wendy's and everything's free. It's pretty cool. We were in there. I was in there one day ordering, and he come in behind me. He goes, "Oh, Steve." I said, "Hey, sir." Next thing I know, I didn't have to pay for any of our foods. I just left with a smile on my face and thanked him. He goes, "Yeah, don't worry about it. As long as I'm standing here, you got it. I got you." And Dad loves their Frosties. Got him Wendy's, not Wendy's. I got him Dairy Queen the other day. Bless his heart. He loves those cones, those dip cones. Watch him try to eat it before it melts is like watching a kid. a pleasant sight to see. He was smiling ear to ear. I love thunderstorms too. That's why I chased him for the longest time, especially tornadoes. But yeah, I love thunderstorms. I love the sound of them. I get up when thunderstorms are around. It seems like they charge me up. It sounds weird, but it's true. All that static in the air, it does it. It kind of lifts me up. Yeah, Arthur Treachers is coming back. I was really happy. Somebody said Friendlies is coming back too. So I kind of hope both of them come back because I loved Arthur Treachers too. On Sundays, if we didn't go to either Bonanza or Ponderosa, and I end up working for both places because they eventually merged, except for the franchises, some of the franchises. But anyways, if we didn't go to one of those two places or Sizzling Steakhouse, which I don't know if anybody remembers Sizzling Steakhouse or not, kind of like Bonanza and Ponderosa. You like that? You feel that too? Yeah, it's like exhilarating. It's like I light up. I mean, I'm like at my happiest when there's a good storm around because it's just like it like energizes me like you would not believe. But anyways, no, I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, but yeah, it'll be nice to see Arthur Treachers come back. I always did like Friendlies. Yeah, there's some about it. You heard me talking the other night, and it's like I've had a barrier around me lately. I've been in and out all week. Not a thing. I get online, I go and surfing but I go to surfing, like checking on the news, and the stuff I see, I can see it. But in real life, in real time, I'm not seeing it. And it's really weird. But it's storms like that, like actually charge me up enough that sometimes the stuff I see after storms is just real intense. It's like I see more clearly. I don't know if I like that at times, but yeah, I love storms. They do. They lift. They like. It's like recharging my battery or something. Friendlies and Ponderosa were our Sunday spots. Yeah, we either go to Ponderosa, Bonanza, or Sizzling Steakhouse because I like Sizzling Steakhouse too. Their steaks were always really good. And if we didn't go to either one of those places, we either stopped at Church's Chicken or Arthur Treachers. Frisch's, we always liked their the morning breakfast buffets, but there's no Frisch's around here. They closed the last one up the street from us here about a year ago. We were bummed. And the big boys, or Frisch's Big Boys, same thing. Yeah, I think if there's one left, is maybe down in Grove Cities, but I don't even know if that one's. Oh, excuse me. I don't even know if that one's still open. Man, I think that bruise would come through. That little tossle at a gas station had helped somebody. The kids loved I loved Friendlies too. That's like the Baskin Robbins. When Baskin Robbins wasn't with another store, you see those, I call mix match. Like around here, it's usually Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts, or Baskin Robbins and Long John Silver's. Now, see, the only time I've had Roy Rogers was when I was going to Jersey the second time. The first time, none of them were open, but the second time I went, I actually caught one open. They weren't bad. It wasn't bad. Roy Rogers, it wasn't bad at all. A little pricey. But then again, all that food was getting pricey then. We only have 3 fishes left down there. Really, that's all? Yeah, I don't think we have any up here. There might, like I said, there might be one left in Grove City. I don't even know if it's still open. I'll have to ask my brother. He was here today. Or should I ask him? That's what they did here. Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts are together. Yeah. Now, when Baskin Robbins was by itself was when it was in its prime. We used to have one right at the top of the street, literally right up the top of the street. During the summer, it was every Saturday. Mom, money, money. go cut grass and you could have money. So we'd go cut grass and all meet up, Baskin Robbins, sit around. They had the chairs that looked like school desk, with the thing in the front. We only have Long John Silver's. You guys didn't have Arthur Treacher's? Arthur Treacher's was great in the day. I will always love that place. Their fish and chips were always the best. 1 second. Long John Silver's. I worked for them like 3 months and couldn't stand it. That's when they were kind of going down the hill. In the day, they were good too. Now it's either you go to Popeyes around here. It's probably pretty much the only one left that's kind of got, like fish that you could actually enjoy unless you go to a restaurant. Like a monkey. The thing is, every baked goods come from the same place. They just deliver everything. Yeah. Actually, we have a what are they called? Hold on. It's a burger place that they put in over by an old. We used to have an A&W root beer restaurant, which was awesome in the day. But it was run by A&W Root Beer. They had some good food there. Had like a little drive-in on the side of it. It was kind of tucked in a tight spot. Well, now it's a burger place, and they actually make their own buns. And it's great when they it's like when Krispy Kreme put fresh donuts, hot donuts up front, making donuts now. That's like with them in the buns. That place puts out the buns are done or fresh buns. I mean, that place gets slammed. Ritzy's? Is it Ritzy's? Yeah, it's Ritzy's. You had Bob's Big Boy. Hey, man, I like Bob's Burger. Bob's Big Boy. Oh, yeah, which is what Edna Fisher's is franchise of Bob's Big Boy. Okay, you had those there? Okay. I thought you were talking about Bob's Burgers. Now I know you were talking about. I'm just a goof. We have one A&W left. Oh, you really still have one open? Holy crap. Is it actually open? Man, the one they had here I remember going to that. It was funny because we had like 2 drive-ins. There was Don's Drive-In and Jerry's Drive-In down by Morse and High Street. And then right up the street where this used to be a Burger King after Don's left. Then it's now a Tim Hortons, but Don's Drive-In sat there. People ran that place. Were the sweetest people. Best homemade milkshakes. They actually had a farmer bring in all the ground beef and stuff in the day. And then A&W Root Beer, which had its little... Anyone remember Geno's? That does sound familiar, but I think that's an East Coast thing. Do you remember Geno's? Why does it sound... It sounds familiar, but it doesn't. Oh, Kentucky Fried Chicken bought out Geno's? Really? Oh, you had several? I don't remember Geno's. Maybe we didn't have. Now we have Country Fried Chicken all over the place. They used to be good in the day, but they're not as good as they used to be. Now, Church's Chicken in its day was way better than Country Fried Chicken. We'd rather go to Church's than the Country Fried KFC's. It was like a McDonald's. Oh, was it really? Huh, I never heard of it. Never heard of it. See, now here, the 3 big ones in my day growing up was McDonald's, Burger King, and Burger Chefs. And I always preferred Burger Chef next to the drive-ins that we had here. If I couldn't get to either drive-ins, I always went to Burger Chef. We had a McDonald's and a Burger King right at the top of the street after Don's left. The Burger King did great business, but the McDonald's was in between Worthington High School and Whetstone. There was always fights there, always fights. So they closed it down. Now it's called Pig Iron, and they serve barbecue. Man, that place always smells good. I have It's been there for a while. Everybody says it's really good, but I haven't had it yet. I got an Italian place right at the top of the street, literally right at the top of the street, which I love, Villanova. I miss the car hops too. Now, the Frisch's had car hops. Yes, they did. What's that place? Oh no, I hate it when I can't think of the place. Because I was so excited we got them up here because of the tater tots. Oh man, now I can't think of it. They still have car hops. During the summer, sometimes they'll wear. Yeah, I know Burger Chef was bought by Hardee's. I still have some of Burger Chef glasses that I had. They did Godzilla's ones, and they did some superhero ones. And I have them boxed up and put away. Those I didn't sell. I kept those. Those are all nicely boxed and put away that I got from Burger Chef. That was the thing, too. Back then, the stuff you used to get from these places are now like collector's items. I probably could have sold them, probably got a chunk of money, but I liked those ones too much. I didn't want to get rid of them. Bring them back. You know, we still have drive-ins here. And I don't know, you may still have them up there, but Sonic, thank you, Chris. I just couldn't think of it. We still have drive-ins up here. In fact, I had asked Ashley when I was with her, see her, Rebecca, her oldest dad, his family, relatives ran the South High drive-in. She thinks they may have sold it, but we still go there as much as we can. It's fun. They keep it pretty decent. They still have the flea market on the weekends. And I always enjoy going to the drive-in. That's one of my favorite. Heck, half the movies I loved growing up as a kid was seen at drive-ins. All the Sinbads, tons of John Wayne, because they always play a Sinbad before John Wayne. Bunch of war movies. You know, that's what we did. Disney movies. Most of the Disney movies I saw was at the drive-in. In fact, I saw Song of the South at the drive-in. I buy Sonic tater tots at Kroger's. Yeah, I saw that. They carry them now. Hey, those tater tots are pretty tasty. My grandson loves Sonic. Yeah, it's a good place. Now they had fruit drinks. They're not bad. But they got one up here. It's right next to my old Bonanza, which is now a Roosters. And it burnt down. We don't even know if they're going to reopen it now. Somebody had a grease fire in one of the vents. I saw my first James Bond movie at a drive-in. Isn't it great? See, you can always remember the movies you saw. The first movie that we saw, I remember seeing at the drive-in, was Mr. Limpet with Don Knotts. And then after that was I think it was The Green Berets with John Wayne, which was one of his better movies. Caught a lot of slack. But I remember watching Mr. Limpet there. I think they were just like doing replays because his movie was a lot older than. No, actually, I was probably about 6, 7. Yeah. But yeah, we saw. I mean, it was like during the summer, every other week. That's what we did. We went to the drive-in. Well, we'd catch the first movie is always more friendly, family oriented than the second movie. Everybody always fell asleep, and me and Dad would be watching the movies. You saw your first Friday the 13th at a drive-in? That's awesome. It's funny. They opened an adult outdoor theater up north at the old one, King's Drive-In, up off of 23, and they just shut it down because people in the neighborhoods around it were complaining. I was like, who would do that? Ooh, Star Wars was the first one. Star Wars. Actually, I saw that at the theater. See, I saw all the Sinbads at the drive-in. Even the older ones were replayed. And I saw most of the Disney movies at that time, growing up at the drive-in. Still seeing a few of them lately. A lot of John Wayne movies, because for some reason, every time they showed a Sinbad movie, they always showed a John Wayne movie. I watched Big Jake there, The Cowboys, True Grit, Rooster Cogburn, one of his last movies. I think that was his last movie. We saw the drive-in. I've seen most of Marvel's first round. Hey, Vixen, how you doing, sweetie? I saw most of the first set of Marvel movies at the drive-in. You know, all the Tobey Maguire movies we saw at the drive-in. I got tickets for the new Superman movie. It's an Amazon early screening. It was cheap, but we got good seats back in the back, IMAX on the 8th. So Tuesday at 7 o'clock, I'll be watching on the 8th. I'll be watching Superman with Pops and Little Man and my son. How you doing, Vixen? Are you having a good day? I was pregnant with my first child, took a blanket and laid on the hood and watched Star Wars. Casey was kicking the whole time. Hey, man, let me out. I want to check this out. Yeah, we had a station wagon at the time for most of those with the back seat that flipped up facing out in the back, the face look in the back. I always got stuck in because I rocked, so they always stuck me in that seat. We had that, so it was perfect, and it would fold down and become like a bed. So we would just sit there, and then we'd bring lawn chairs, and Dad would back in. And that's when they had the speakers. And then when they started using the radios, Dad would complain, well, I have to run my battery down to listen to the movie. But he realized, hey, that was actually a lot better sound. So. Yeah, they always stuck me in the back. It was always weird to watch the people looking at me. It was like, hi. You always had a fear somebody would rear end you, your legs would get crushed. That just never bothered me because I rocked the whole time. I just probably rocked at the right time. Saw most of the Disney's and movies in the yeah, so have I. I mean, most of the classics I saw at the drive-in. Sitting in the back making faces at the drivers. Yep. My little brother was great at that, Kevin. It would be Tim and Micah, and then me and Kevin. Kevin would get mad because he had to sit with me because I would rock. So sometimes he'd crawl up between the two. I'd make faces at them. They'd look at me funny because I was sitting there doing this. Yeah, the drive-ins. I just wish they'd bring them back and reopen some of the ones that. I mean, there's one up in north. The two screens are still there. Nobody knows why they didn't tear them down. Everything's there. All has to be has gone in and fixed up and cleaned up. People would come back to drive-ins. Hey, kid, I remember on Thursday nights, sometimes we'd go Thursday nights and it'd be like family night, and you'd pay $5 for a carload. It was always a win. And the food was never that bad. I mean, what do you expect for concession stand food when it's being grilled right there in front of you? We'd shine moons. That's funny. We shine moons. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of those places had like you paid $5 a carload to get in. Usually that's if they were doing replays or at the end of a run for certain movies. It didn't do too good. Saw a lot of good old drive-in horror movies too. Saw My Valentine at the drive-in. Did see, I think, the Friday the 13th Part 2. That's when actually Jason entered the scene. Saw Nightmare on Elm Street at the drive-in. Hello, Al. How are you doing? That's who I was talking about, not cat. Al. How you doing, Al? Hope you're hanging good. Having a good weekend so far. I was telling everybody I liked your channel. I had your name wrong. Because sometimes I have another girl that comes in here. Sometimes her name's Kat, and she does AI too. But yeah, there's Sue. That's who I was talking about. 13. Welcome. Hello. Hope you're having a good weekend. What time is it? I'm sure I'm way past. Yeah, about 15. I'll probably take it to about 1. I'm in no rush. I may get up in the morning. Hopefully, if it's not raining, do a little yard work, then do a little inside work. And then hopefully my daughter will come over and make me Father's Day dinner. And bring me some food, some munchie. I'm all right. Just got finished with Paranormal Reporter live stream. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Thank you for joining us. Come and hang out for a bit or whatever. We appreciate it. I'll have to go check it out. Always like watching replays. A lot of times I don't catch live streams. I try to catch Moggs. A lot of times I usually have him on in the background. That's why I don't say a whole lot. And sometimes I sit down and gab with him. Not to me either. I catch on the fly. I tried the other day, but I was like, Wednesday night. And then Gemma's here Friday nights at 7:15. She come in and get a card read. We go until about 10 or till we run out of people. And it's free. You just ask for donations. All goes to Gemma. This channel, everything that comes in this channel goes to her. And keeping the channel running. But you should come in now sometime if you're free on a Friday night. It's a good experience. People are good here. When is that again? It's Friday nights at 7:15. That's ET time. I'm not sure where you're at. 7. And we started. She says 7:15, but she's been starting early. So I'd say anywhere between 7 and 7:15 on Friday nights. And we usually go. I do members first, and it goes pretty fast. Sometimes she gets a chatty, but it's always a good time. The people you see here are most of the people that are in that chat. So Mountain Time, so that would be, it's 3 hours behind. So 7, that'd be about 4:15, right? Right, yeah. Just look for her. Just look for it because I'm here. I'm here. I keep lists for her. You're subscribed to the channel, I would hope. Yeah, just look for the subscription. Watch for the. She usually posts it anywhere between Wednesday. Sometimes she posts it early, but usually between Wednesday and Thursday, she puts it up in YouTube. I moderate Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays every week from 8 to 10 p.m. Yeah, you should. Mountain Time? Okay, so, well, if you ever get a Friday night free, come in. That's usually about when she gets done. It's usually around 10. We got done early. It's the people are. She had to charge for a while. She was only charged a couple bucks, but she felt bad for doing it because she did it for free for years. So she went back to doing it for free. It's just the only thing now is we do the members first, and then we do everybody else first come, first serve. But yeah, I would love to see if you ever get a chance to make it. Please pop in. Our local drive-in it and became a wildlife area. Actually, a lot of them have. I know one way up north. They took down, or they left one of them up and turned it into a park. And I guess they do like summertime movies at the park, and that's it. But actually, if you think about it, most of these drive-ins sit on pretty good chunks, nice couple acres. I used to read tarot as well. I do have a new deck and a set of oracle cards. Yeah, Gemma reads oracle intuitively really well too. She scares me sometimes. We'll have to check you out. If you ever do it again, let me know and I'll come and check it out. But yeah. I'm glad you came in. Yeah, because I was talking about you, but I had the wrong name. I'm ashamed of myself. That's another person who used to come in a lot was a cat. There was like 2 or 3 of them. Everybody had a cat name. The cat something 1, 2, 3, and there was another one. I think there was one on SOR on Spaced Out Radio that used to come in. I got to catch up with Spaced Out Radio. I haven't listened to him for about a month now. I usually try to listen during the week if I can. I've totally lost out on the week. They do still do the weekend show, right, Chris? I've never been done it on YouTube before, just in person. Long before TikTok. Yeah. I think Gemma wants to try to stream on there and do stuff like that on TikTok. Right now, she's just having too much fun. I got to admit, I don't post like I should on TikTok because she's paid me to come on there. And I've just been posting goofy stuff. I did one of those mermaids. Actually, I looked pretty good. So I was like, wow, that looks good. I have several oracle decks going to give tarot a try. Yeah, I heard tarot is a little different. I noticed a lot of them use oracle and tarot now. I know a couple women I check out, and a guy that kind of leads with the oracles and then goes into tarot. They use both decks. It's kind of neat. I don't post anything. I just joined for support, and she appreciates that so much. And I did follow you back. I saw that you had followed me, so I followed you back. Just don't laugh too hard at my goofy videos. I got to do updates on my models too. I got so busy with everything, I had to kind of put everything on hold. And I post stuff on the models I'm doing, promo for Gemma. Then I found the apps, started having fun with the apps. The first app I did, I said the app, and I go, you got to go check out TikTok, Gemma. And she goes, oh, I will. Finally, she texts me, oh my God, you're killing me. You're just too funny. She was laughing so hard. She goes, that totally got me off guard. I thought you were telling me to go check out somebody, trolling me or something. She goes, I come across this and I about lost. And she was still laughing her head off. The glass guy, the guy in the big glasses that I did, I think I'm going to do more stuff with him, but I couldn't find the glass app, so I had to do one without the glasses. But it's fun. I mean, I don't expect any views. Half the people that are following me anyways are these crazy women that think that I'm going to go look at them on their other sites. Don't touch that crap. Or they want money. There are a lot of scams on TikTok. Tons of them. Like doing videos like that too. Yeah, I was having fun with them. I was just having too much fun. I didn't post some of the ones I did because I got kind of goofy. We're a little too goofy, I should say. But I just stumbled on the apps. I had a funny feeling I could find them. I mean, they were right there on my phone. All I did was look. And then I'll probably do some more stuff as I get more comfortable. I've just been kind of working at my own pace on that. Believe it or not, I get nervous still doing these. I have to just kind of get a grip before I start the stream. I got one where I'm a UFO and eating up cows when I open my mouth. Man, you have to follow me. It's Ghost Dragons. I don't know what the numbers are after it, but I'm Ghost Dragons. You follow me, I'll follow you. Follow Gemma too. Some of her, man, she likes to pick on the trolls. So which is good. She started getting a little political there, but she got a little heated. So I think she backed away from that. It's one of the reasons why she doesn't like to do political stuff on here, because it divides people. We don't want division. We want everybody to be comfortable and cozy here. That's what it's all about. But no, she was so tickled, Edna, that you had joined just for her. That just made her day. You know that? Do you understand that, Edna? It did make her day. Another where I'm that Chinese spy. I haven't seen this. This happens. Yeah, it's been nuts. I try not to let it get, it's like earlier, Chris talked about the riots. I just said, and it's like, and then another guy come in and goes, "Oh, don't talk about that. Dragons." I said, "No, that's not my rule. It's Gemma's rule." And we do it just to kind of keep everybody even. The world's divided enough as it is. We don't need to come in here and make it even worse. Let's just have fun and chat. Use Snapchat. No, see, I've never done that Snapchat. I did do Instagram for a while. Didn't like it. I just couldn't keep up with it. The only reason I did that was for a guy that was doing like mystery comic book boxes. You go in and get numbers, and then later in a live stream, if you get that number picked, you can get a free mystery box and stuff like that. It was always worth it. But then I stopped doing it because I kind of took for a ride on one. And do I share it to my Facebook? Wait, what was that? I'm going to have to learn to share it out. Yes, that's important. Yeah, you're supposed to. You can and yes, you can share it to Facebook. If you go in, there's like 3 buttons, or you can just hit that little arrow button that swings around. If you click that, it will give you all the things that you could share on. The rule in the other live stream that I go to, no, yeah, we just try to keep it. I mean, you can't talk paranormal without talking a little bit of religion. And we try to keep that kind of toned down. But politics, there's just so many political channels out there that we try to give people a break and feel a little more even, because it's just people get on each other, and that's not what it's about. It's all right to disagree to agree, but some things being thrown around just out of control. So we just try to keep it kind of level playing field here, and everybody feel comfy and cozy. I'm a boomer baby hippie. We don't do computers. Those are evil boxes. Evil talkie back boxes like radio and TV. Bad. No. Hippies. Hippies are the ones that are using computers now. You know that, right, Edna? In fact, a lot of hippies are the ones who help create laptops. Which is ironic. Because back in the day, they probably said, "No, I don't want to use it," but they the ones that help create them. And then you got the hippies that are still wandering around. I've got a brother hippie. I guess us 3 boys are kind of hippie in our souls, since we all grew up in that time. I was a young pup then. But I actually remember quite a bit of it. That guy that survived the air crash in India. Yeah, isn't that wild? I don't think I think, because you don't see him like jump. You watch that footage, you don't see nobody jump out of that plane. Even when it was close to the ground. I've seen a couple different footage of it. I'm betting the guy was already on the ground. He was talking big. The Miracle Magic Tribe, he's going to have survivor's guilt. Now, if he actually did jump out of that plane, yeah, he probably will eventually have. But there's a lot of people saying that they don't think he was actually in that plane. Yeah, the hippies developed Silicon Valley. That's a fact. That was a miracle. But yes, they haven't. No, he didn't jump out of it while moving. Well, that's what some of the people were saying. That's what they understood him saying was he actually jumped out of the plane while it was crashing to the ground. Now, see, that kind of was like, well, I don't know if you could jump even that fast and everything going at once. He couldn't get up. So I figured that's what I assumed was either he was just, the last survivor, but he's on the plane. So that'd be what I'd suggest. But I haven't heard any more about the story or his story yet, other than he survived. If it's true, then my goodness. Somebody was watching over him that day, that's for sure. But he probably will, if it's true, he probably will have survivor guilt. There's no doubt about it. Most of them do in one form or another. And he could have been blown out. That's possible too. Not my clan vixen. What? Not my clan vixen. Okay, I get it now. It's possible for him to jump out the plane, though. He might have gotten stuck in. Yeah, see, that's the thing. There's so many factors, and it depends on where the plane was at when he jumped. Because you still had the explosion. So that concerns me because if he was in the plane when it landed and he was in his seat and he was the only one that was able to get out of the plane, he must have been moving fast to get out of there before it exploded, because it's still exploded. You've still been, even if you weren't near the explosion, you would have felt it. You would have felt the heat. So I don't know. We'll find out more as it comes. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't know, for a guy that walked away. But then again, I've fallen off a third floor stories and walked away, just little scratches here and there. So, I mean, I've seen people lose their parachutes and somehow survive. So, where do things have happened? Did you see where that hang glider guy jumped off that mountain and ended up getting a current and ended up taking him way above? He took him right into the airplane zone, and he had a GoPro with him, and he was up so high he was actually starting to freeze, and he was trying to get himself and finally he had to work it around where he could get himself to start slowly gliding back down. I can imagine what that was like. Holy crap, I'm being taken away. It looked like it was blown up. It blew up. I mean, you can see the explosion. Original hippies sold out to the establishment. It's sad. Yes, a lot of them did. And the ones they fought against, they ended up working for. He was still in his seat after the crash. He was still in his seat. So how do you manage? See, I didn't know. I didn't see. They didn't never really show. I haven't seen any footage where all the wreckage was at. But I will tell you, in India, these people were filming everything. They were showing the bodies, the heads. They were running around filming everything and putting it live. He just got up and jumped out of a broken fuselage. Yes, they did, Vixen. I saw many turn their heavy drug. Yeah, and that's true too. Lose the family business. I saw that too. I've seen it. I haven't. See, that's the thing. If I could see the layout of where the plane all broke down right at, was it when his seat, when that plane broke, because it broke, it hit the ground because the buildings broke it, then the explosion. I mean, depending on how fast he was moving and how, because that thing almost ignites, that thing explodes almost as soon as it hits the ground, not but at least a couple seconds later. Yeah, the pictures people were taking and posting and the footage they were showing was just ridiculous. I kind of stumbled onto some of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you people have no shame, no remorse, and no feelings for the dead. Come on. But you know that place is going to be haunted. I hate to say that, but go back to that year. In fact, don't even do that. Go now and start walking through there and see if you see a few things that you don't want to see, because I bet you do. I heard about I'm talking major companies at the time, the 80s, and I destroyed people. Yes, they did. Well, the 80s was definitely the decade of the decade of decadence. I mean, it was a crazy time. So was the 90s for most part, the beginning of the 90s. Now, see, that's a thing. I could have flown out to Kansas and have been quicker, but first, the bus was cheaper. Yeah, I had to sit on a bus all night, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't half as bad as I thought it'd be. You know, they kept everything pretty well tightened, kept tabs on everybody. They knew who was getting on and off that bus. The booger sugar hit the scene in the 80s, so did the little crack in the bottle. As one might say. I'm a plane nerd, so I keep on the stuff. Excuse me again. Yeah, a lot of people are on that. I got a couple of friends who are like really into planes and stuff. I'm sure they're following the story. They were following the helicopter crash over the Hudson, and every time something happens, these guys are on it all day long. I have well, they're divorced now, but I don't know if they would even be a relative, but anyways, yeah. My ex, one of her nieces was married to a pilot. He did private jets and stuff. So he was always into that. Yeah, from everything I've learned about air crashes, you would have hard time flying. It's crazy out there. And some of the footage I see where they're using duct tape, the duct tape stuff it cracks me up. I saw one video where there was people flying and they actually look out the window and there's duct tape flapping in the wind. I'm like, holy crap. Had a friend lose his TV news career because of the booger. Probably that booger sugar was everywhere then. That was probably the main one. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind flying. I mean, I don't know if I would now. Actually, if I could drive, I'll drive. Taking the bus wasn't bad, so I'd probably do that again. But I would prefer to drive. I like seeing the sights and doing things. I couldn't drive to Japan, but I'd drive to the West Coast, load everything up on a boat, and go across that way. Because I've actually been looking at places in Japan again. Just in case. Because, yeah, I think I could talk my son to go with me. He loves Japan, and he's never been there. And I said, dude, you should go. If you want to go somewhere, go to Japan. Go to the islands. No, I won't be flying for a while. I want to drive around the U.S. Got places I want to see. You see, that's me. I enjoy. See, that's the thing about driving. I like driving. It's one of the rare times where I rock, but it's not as bad. I'm comfortable. That's like when we came back from Kansas. I drove for a bit, then she drove the rest of the way to Indiana. Then we stayed the night in Indiana. And because I actually fell asleep, I dozed off for a little bit, and then I drove from Indiana home. They're not putting in any. They're not. Well, the problem is Now there's so much going, and they're doing so, even when business is slow for they're still doing good business. So those planes are consistently up in the air. They're just not getting the maintenance that they need. Oh yeah, that's just because they're just not getting the maintenance they need. There, switch your flight if there are lights flickering or other power inconveniences when you board a plane. Yes, if you see that stuff, you get a greed has ruined this country. Yeah, unfortunately, it has. More chances of seeing a Bigfoot than you would thousands of feet up. Yeah, you would. That's true too. That is true too. And they do. They put that money in their pockets. Yes, they do. That's a lot of these corporations and companies, period. I would just, McDonald's, it's like we were talking about the food industry a little bit ago. There's people are ripping us off. McDonald's, they're ripping us off. This is why a lot of reasons I don't eat McDonald's anymore. Unless I actually really want a Big Mac or something, I'll go to White Castle's. They may have gone up in price, but I can still get a king case for a whole family and some fries, some big, large fries, which fills a bowl. If you get 3 large of their fries, you can literally dump them in a big bowl and it fills. More chances they put the money in their pockets. I love my night vision. You have a night vision camera? Oh, that's right. You said you got one. That's right. You'll have a lot. Hey, so you got to see the pink moon, didn't you, Edna? How many people here got to see the pink moon? I only got it for a bit. I couldn't even break. It wasn't even worth breaking out the telescope. I thought of seeing Saban doesn't bother me. It's a dog man. I don't want to have to do anything to do with the dog man. I'm sure if I saw either one of them, everybody says there's a big chance I saw a Bigfoot when I was down camping a few years back. But it could have been a guy in a gunny suit. I mean, they do illegal turkey runs through that area all the time. Illegal hunting all the time, poaching all the time. So it could have been. I don't know. It just happened so fast. And I couldn't keep up because I chased it. And I still couldn't keep up. The kids got it for me for Mother's Day. That's right. You told me about that. Oh my God. Almost like $30 for 2 of us. Oh, it's horrible. And it sucks now. Yeah. We have one McDonald's up here by me. It's probably the only one I go to because actually there's 2 because there's one up on the highway. They're clean and I always get what I ordered and the food is always hot and decent. But you eat that stuff anywhere. It's really not good for you, but when you don't feel like cooking and you want something, that's fine. I heard they are going to search for MH370. They have a good idea where it is. I'm hoping they find it for all. Yes, I hope they do too. They've been working for 370 for a while. You've heard every theory that the aliens took it, the Russians took it, somebody took it. Hey, Andrew, down by Groveport, Ohio, there's a pizza place known for their wings and pizza. There's actually a couple places in Groveport that are really good with their wings and their pizza. There's a couple places right here in Columbus too that are really good. They're not like Roosters or BMWs, but there's a couple mom Paul places here have killer wings. OSU Pizza, I believe House Wings now, and I heard they're really good. Also Buckeye Donuts. There's a place on campus called Buckeye Donuts. Oh man. And then we have a mom and Paul donut shop, breakfast shop. They're only open from I think 6 to 3 in the afternoon. Basically, it's just breakfast and donuts, waffles, the whole kit. But it's in an old Jolly Rogers place. But man, their homemade donuts are their cinnamon twists are die for. Nice and fluffy and ooh. But yeah, there's a bunch of places like that here. You just gotta look them out. Ours have gone down here, everything in microwave. Yeah. You're gonna find like places like Applebee's and stuff like that have resorted to the microwave stuff for quick, when they're like really busy, they pre-make stuff and just reheat it in the microwave. Long John, Red Lobster's been known to do that once in a while. Same thing with Olive Garden. But see, they also have companies that make the food for them, and then they only prepare chef style on certain foods in the restaurant, like sauces and maybe bake up the chicken and stuff. I had a friend that worked for a middleman. He worked for a middleman for a lot of those companies. Chick-fil-A was actually one of them too. But they've changed a lot since he left that company. Tony Paco's in Ohio is great. Or as it used to be. We stopped on our way. I'll have to look it up to see if it's still around. Do you remember where it was at? Oh, no. I prefer Dairy Queen to make it. I like Dairy Queen's food. Dairy Queen food gets a lot of static. The one up top the street where I take Dad and we go to, man, their burgers are always good. Their chicken strips are some of the best. Wish they'd bring the Wendy's back. They baked potatoes. Yeah, they still have the baked potatoes with cheese and bacon. But I used to like to get the baked potatoes with the broccoli and cheese potatoes. Those were always so good. I was so bummed they took them away. I prefer Indian tacos. Yeah. I don't know if there's any place out on Hill Lake makes them like that. But it's famous. Yeah, I'll pull it up. Tony's Pacos. I will pull it up and look for it. I just discovered there's like these two huge candy places north of me that sells all the candies from all the days past and even makes some of it themselves. There's two places, I believe, north of me. Chris, if you're listening, if you know the places I'm talking, I'll have to go look on Facebook later. But Dad, I told Dad, man, these places have like the buttons and all the good old candy days that he grew up with. He joked to my son one time and told my son, "Oh, we used to pour the tar off the streets and chew it like bubble gum." And I'm like, "Don't be telling him that." And my mom goes, "No, it's true." Better made at home. Most of the foods you eat today are probably better made at home. At least you have a little control. That used to be my supper. I baked potato with broccoli and cheese. I love baked potato, broccoli, cheese baked potatoes, broccoli and cheese potatoes. I also love broccoli. My mom made a potato soup with broccoli and cheese. That was just, I'm going to have to make a big pan of it because I do have a recipe. It's pretty easy. She used to make potato soup all the time, and I loved it. I love potato soup. And a large Coke. Yeah, that's what I usually got was a broccoli and cheese and a large lemonade. I love powwow just for the Indian tacos. I've never had powwow either. I had my first authentic Navajo taco on the Big Riz. I bet that was pretty tasty. Yum. You guys are we get to talking about food all the time now. If it's not talking about food, we are talking about paranormal. If we're not talking about paranormal, hello, Warmington. Janetta, you have to forgive me. I have talking issues, so just bear with me. Hello and welcome. Granny would always make fried bread. I haven't had fried bread in a long time. Baked potato soup is so good. I love baked potato soup. Sometimes I make it with regular potatoes. Sometimes I use red potatoes. Yeah, that's good too. That's my comfort food in my family. It was the broccoli and cheese potato. Oh, I used to get, and in the day, Wendy's potatoes used to get these huge potatoes too. Now, my dad had a bacon and cheese potato, and it wasn't as big as they used to be. Welcome. You have to forgive my pronunciation, but welcome in and have a seat. We'll just talk right now. We're talking about food. Usually we're talking paranormal. I've showed a couple of Gemma's uploads. Now we're just hanging out until I call it quits. But we're having good, fun conversation. So, what is your favorite place to eat, Miss Warmington? If I said that right, forgive me if I don't. Huge potatoes. Yeah, it used to be huge potatoes. Man, I see when I worked for Windows, I remember potatoes, it literally would take 2 hands to hold. I mean, you could hold it with 1 hand, but when you split it open and fluffed it up, you have to squeeze it in the container to clip it shut. Now they're just regular old russet potatoes. But I don't complain. It's still good. But man, I remember those days. And they used to pile in the broccoli and the cheese. I would get that. Sometimes I'd just get a cheeseburger and then or a chicken sandwich with it, and then my lemonade. And cheap too. Yep. The chili used to be good. It's been so long since I've had Wendy's chili. I don't even know if it's still good anymore, because I remember making that every morning when I worked for them. Because I worked for them for like a year and a half when they first opened up here at Graceland. In fact, I helped open the restaurant. Yeah, my first experience with it was in Canada. Can get it here in Maine now, but only near the border. Really, that's weird. Huh. I wonder if it's because of the tariffs. Not to talk politics, but it's possible. But yeah, you just don't get the food built, the good stuff like you used to. No. Don't cancel. I'm trying to get off the screen. Thank you. Is it true you guys have white gravy? Yes. And it's big down south. I actually like white gravy or peppered gravy. A lot of the like sausage gravy, you can get white gravy with sausage is big. When I was a teen, I always made sure one job was a fast food place so I could eat. Yeah, that was the same way. Now, Vixen's going to slide you some bacon. Now she's going to make us even more hungry. I went to school and I had 2 part-time jobs. Yeah, I went to school. I always held jobs, especially once I started right after 8th grade. But even before then, I was cutting grass and babysitting. Sausage and biscuits and white gravy. That just made you just made that the other morning. Oh, honey. Dad's been asking for it. I think I'm going to have to make him some too. White sausage gravy over biscuits. It's the way to go. And white gravy is often seen on country fried steaks and beef fried steaks, chicken fried steaks and beef fried steaks. And that's a good one too. I haven't had a good whole country fried steak and gravy in a long time. I may have to do that too. I don't know how my country fried will turn out, but I'll try it. Make some country fried chicken or something. That sounds good, actually. But my biscuits are off. Hadn't made them for years. My grandmother, my mom's mom, adopted mom, sister, aunt, whatever she was. Man, that woman cooked. Going to Thanksgiving at her house was like probably going to Cindy Lee's and other people here in this room. You'd walk in the house, she would have the bird going. She would be making homemade dumplings or homemade noodles, the real thick ones. And then she would also be making homemade biscuits. And I would sit at the table and eat. You'd think I was a chubby little kid the way I ate, man. But I always saved my belly for Thanksgiving and Christmas with them because, man, they put out a spread. And it was always at home comfort food. Make his favorite comfort food, Ghost. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. But some of the stuff I'm not very good at. I'll tell you, though, that man, my pop, makes a mean fried chicken. Oh, man, I about died. I was like, Dad, I didn't know you could. It makes also a great catfish. He's got a batter for catfish that'll knock his socks off. My parents' dear friend will be 89. I've been doctoring him up, doctoring on him. And there you go, girl. I'll tell you, it's hard because we noticed about a year ago, the guy always ate like a Marine. I mean, you put foot down. He didn't care what it was. It was gone. We've noticed now that his portions have gotten smaller and smaller. Last couple of days, especially after his sister's passing, it's just like he nitpicks now. So yeah, maybe breaking out the recipes and going back to some of his foods because he's been reminiscing a lot too. Maybe that's a good thing, Ed. Now maybe that's a good idea. Get his recipe. Yeah, his recipe for his fried chicken. He doesn't want anybody watching when he makes it, but man, when he makes it, it's killer. Now he hasn't made it for a few years. I think the last time he made it was about 3 years ago. My Uncle Jim, his sister who just passed, her husband was a Chillicothe cop. But man, this guy, you talk about somebody who could barbecue. His ribs, he just fucked that meat right off the bone. It was so good. Melt in your mouth. Country cooking is simple cooking. And it is. Have you ever seen Edna when you get on TikTok? And I think she's showing up on Facebook now. She's Amish, but she's not really Amish anymore. But she does a lot of their recipes that she grew up with on TikTok. She wears the Amish clothes and everything. I'm telling you, her recipes are a lot like the ones I grew up with. In fact, most of them are identical. And she does that. Oh, my goodness. Nothing like talking about food. Now, we're all going to leave here, go munch. Al's probably already going to get food. Chris, all the guys are probably already looking for food. This is supposed to be a paranormal channel, not a food channel. But that's what ended up happening by the end of the night. I'm putting my cheese potato recipe on the tombstone. You have a cheese potato recipe? You can send that to me. My grand put on family supper every Sunday. Yeah, we used to do that every couple weeks down in Chillicothe. We'd go down there and be food. And same thing that was my dad's parents, Chillicothe. And then every couple Sundays, we'd go to Mom's. They would both have shit. See, now they had an old cook stove too, Dad's family. It was funny because she had a stove, but she still did all the cooking on that old Ben Franklin stove. And there was always a pot of coffee sitting on it. Talking about some strong coffee, but man, that's the way I drank it. And it was funny because I think first time I really had a cup of coffee was there. And it was right after my hair turned white. And I was 12. And I looked at it, I go, that actually smells good. Grandma does, because you want to try a cup? Mom goes, oh, he's too young. And Grandma goes, oh, no, he's not. So she poured me a cup. I put a little sugar in it, a little bit of cream in it. Start off with, she goes, put a little cream and sugar in it so you get used to it. I've been drinking it ever since. I watch her. She's awesome. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, Edna. Yeah, she is. She's awesome. Her stuff, everybody was freaking out because the way she looks at the camera as she does everything. And so everybody started complaining for her not to always look at the camera. And then when she stopped doing it, everybody was like, we miss you not looking at us. But she's got a cookbook out. And I thought about getting it just to support her, because it's got a lot of those Amish recipes and stuff. But I mean, she's done most of the recipes. You can go back during her catalog and cook with her. I mean, she's got it down. But then again, when you're raised Amish, you get it down. Everyone loves it. Ask for the recipes. I give it to them. They swear it doesn't taste like mine. Really, I want to try that, Edna. I really do. Yeah, I can't think of her name. I'll probably be one of the first videos I look at. She'll pop up right away. And she's funny too. Yes, she's got a great sense of humor. Yeah, she's a character. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Yeah, she's got a great sense of humor. She's fun to watch. She always seemed upbeat, which makes the video good too. Your keyboard is glitching on you. Let's just hope it doesn't bite you next. It may have AI in it. It might be trying to do something. Just kidding. I'll send it to you, Ghost. It's easy, and boys would love it. They probably would. Even though he's gotten bigger, he still pretty much eats anything you put in front of him. It's just not as big as portion. All my men's love my taters. Yeah, if you send that to me, it'll definitely get used. The storm finally stopped. Older phone. Are you using the keyboard on your phone? Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten the phone I had now if I had it my way. But everybody kept saying, get rid of that piece of crap. So I got on a plane with my son. I have two older daughters and a son out. My oldest daughter's here from Kansas right now. Hey, Kay, how you doing? We're talking about food. You good timing. Anyways, what you grilling? If you're grilling anything. And then I have a younger boy. My oldest daughter's 37 and 38. 38. And then I think my other daughter's 36. No, they're younger than that. Giles only 32. There is a difference quite a bit of a span between him and his sisters. Smoking a chuck roast. Oh, man. So how you doing, sir? You doing good up there in the old Alaskan environment? You guys had a heat wave. Alaska was actually under an 85-degree heat wave, which is pretty rare. They got me a new phone when I got out of the hospital. I lost my contact. I hate that when you have to redo everything. I had to do that with this phone. I was so upset. That was the thing. I had to put everything back in this phone. It was just a nightmare. The chuck roast sounds good. I'm ready for a brisket. I told son we'll have to break the smoker out here soon and make us a brisket. Gonna have to learn how to use it. It's an electric smoker, and I gotta learn how to use it. It's a pain in the Yeah, it is. I have a new phone, but everything on it is on this one. But everything is on this one. Yeah. See, and then you'll have to switch it over, and it sucks. It just sucks. It's a shame you can't do like you can with the PlayStation. Just plug them in together and just transport everything over. Not here. Weather has been terrible. And I've only seen the sun like one times in 2 months. Wow. Now, is it cold there? Because I know today some of the internal closer to the Canada, they were up like they were actually saying it was a heat wave. But then again, anything over 80 there is a heat wave. Is this just a lot of rain, or are you getting a little bit of everything? I know parts of Canada can get crazy with the weather. I use the camera more than the phone. It's not. A lot of people give me crap because I don't take a whole lot of pictures. I'm just not a picture guy. But I'm learning. I'm learning. My new phone is an Armor 4, I think, big as a brick. Has a night vision camera. Oh, wow. Oh. Well, I can't take that, AQ, really. I couldn't take that. Now, I don't mind not seeing the sun. That doesn't bother me, but I need the sun. But we all need the sun, yes. So you couldn't do the 30 days of darkness, Edna, up in like northern part of Canada, Alaska. They go literally 30 days of sun and then 30 days of no sun. Down in Antarctica, it's crazy too. You'd probably go nuts going down there too. It wouldn't bother me either way. I hear you, and I've been taking lots of vitamin D. Yeah, that's important too when you don't have that sun. It's important to kind of supplement. Since I've gotten sick, I haven't been able to. It's nice because I'm finally getting back to my workout again and getting myself slowly away from the air compressor at night. And kind of get out in the sun a lot more. I want to see if I can get my hair to turn white again. Sometimes if I get a lot of sun during the summer, I can actually get it to go the way it was the day I turned it. Because it doesn't turn blonde during the summer anymore. When I do get a lot of sun, it turns white. Last time that happened was about 7-8 years before I even come wandering in. Gemma's were actually into this scene. So my hair pretty much dirty blondie back up again. I get a sun lamp. Yeah, you could do that too. A lot of people do that. That sunlight lamp therapy. It's actually, I hear it's actually good for some people when they're not around a whole lot of sun or work nights. Change of seasons kill me. Spring is the worst. Actually, spring's not bad just on the allergies. Fall is my worst. For some reason, the only thing about spring that kills me is the cottonwood. And that's probably my biggest allergy in the spring is cottonwood. But fall is the worst for me for some reason, man. It is the worst. I guess that's because, your mold spores are getting worse and all that crap. Those do help with mental stuff for sure. And yeah, it actually, the sun lamps do work for, help getting vitamin D. You can get special ones. I notice a lot of tanning salons now offer red light therapy, which is kind of wild. But yeah, I've seen an uptick in the tanning salon up the street of people using it. So I have AS and arthrosclerosis. I have AS too, ankylosing spondylosis. I can't even say it. On top of the damaged spine. So, yeah, I have AS too, and men get it too. And we're starting to see. They think too the rocking didn't help that situation, but it's also dad's got it. And it didn't help my degenerative spinal disease that they discovered when I tried to get into service. And then years later, they had to replace all the necks. Much years later, they had to replace all the neck, all my cervix and my neck. From what I understand, Edna, I hear it really does. A lot of people see a lot of improvement with it. I'm sure it didn't go sad. But yeah, I've just noticed a lot of people, broke my concentration. Must be getting tired. I'm not the night owl I have been since I got sick, and it sucks. I'm trying to get back. Oh, here's my question. I said I had a question. Everybody cool? I may go back to 11 o'clock starting time on Saturdays. Now 10's going to stay. Wednesdays will stay at 10 because just the weekdays are too crazy. But I'm going to go back to 11. So I think as long as I'm here, next Saturday, this won't start at 10. It will start at 11. Since that's when most of my people keep coming in. I was kind of by myself for the first hour, in and out. So I think I'll probably go back to 11 since that's when most people start slowly popping in on me. Plus, I go a little longer too. I'm starting to get to the point where hopefully soon I'll go back to doing that show on Saturday nights at midnight like I used to, because I like my midnight show. I'm thinking about doing Sundays. I'm thinking about is maybe every couple Sundays, maybe doing like a pop-up live stream, just chit chat and maybe have a guest or something. I actually had thought about doing that on my own channel or on Rumble. 111. Is it really 11 after 1? Holy crap. Time flies when we're having a good time. See, 7 to 8 people and time flies. Not everybody's talking. We're all the only ones talking, but it does make time fly because last time I looked at it, it was only like 15 after 12. I haven't even been paying attention time. I can't fish. Can't eat anything that comes out of the water, salt or fresh. Really? Some people are like that. We need to talk about our gray man ghost. Why, did you see him again? We can do that Wednesday night if you like. If you promise to be here, we can talk about that. Actually, me and Patty were talking about that a couple days ago, so it's kind of funny you bring that up. I don't like fish. I don't like to eat fish, but I like catching. I like fishing. I don't mind fish, but I'm kind of picky about how it's made. I used to love sushi. I got a bad batch of sushi and haven't been able to touch it since. But I've had my share of all kinds of weird fish in Japan. From octopus, the whole works, blowfish. So I don't mind fish. My dad loves fish. He loves like catfish and bass and perch and all that and salmon. That's another thing I want to do for him is make him a salmon steak because he's been craving salmon. I figure I'll get him a nice good cut and do it right. That's one thing I can cook. I don't eat sushi. Yeah, that time would work. Yeah, I was thinking about 11 o'clock because usually I do midnights out. Used to do the midnight shows on Wednesdays, or it used to be Fridays and Saturdays. Then I switched it to Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays would be like just casual talk, paranormal talk, spooky time talk. And then for Saturday nights, I started Gemma's replay just to kind of help with her catalog. But yeah, I got sick, and then right before I was sick, I was having some issues. So it was kind of now, I'm getting back to normal again. I want to go back to 11, see how those do, and eventually I'll probably just go back to midnights on Saturday. And just to know that was the other thing. I've been playing catch up with housework and stuff. And I try to make Sundays my day if it's possible, but lately it hasn't always worked out that way. I get a little time to go play games with Gemma, and we like to play Fortnite and stuff, so we spend a little time there. No, I haven't seen him. I want to know what the F Is it? What is it? What are you talking about? What I miss? Did I say something? No, you haven't seen him. Yeah, we will. We will. I want to talk. Let's talk about that Wednesday night, okay, Edna? And if you want to come in, if you feel up to it and you want to come in and actually sit with me on the screen, we can talk about it. We can do that. I'll leave it up to you, and we'll just play it by ear. Now, let me read the rest of it. I found out that one of my spirit guides is a mermaid. I wonder if that's why. Hitting too close to home. Maybe it's possible, Vixen. It's possible. I like salmon, trout, and bass. I like salmon. I like trout. Trout's good. I'm picky about the shellfish. Now I like crawdad, even though that's but that's the southern in me. I like shrimp. Don't mind crab. And lobster, but I can't do like crustaceans. I can't do oysters. And when it comes to crab, it's usually crab cakes. I've only had lobster a few times. I don't mind it. It's good. Pricey, but good. My son loves lobster. And he don't eat a whole lot of fish at all. I like catfish, even though it's the bottom feeder of the thing. If you get a good fresh farm-raised catfish, it's worth it. Now, see, that's what I'm thinking. And it could be, if you have a spirit guide that's kind of like a mermaid, it might keep you from not being able to stomach certain foods like fish and stuff, which is possible. Now, and when it comes to eating meat, I go through spells. There are times I can't even look at meat. And I'll subsidize with other foods. I can look. I have in steak, when it comes to steaks and stuff, I have to be in the mood. Same thing with like hamburger and stuff, but with like the big steaks, I used to like to have a T-bone every so often when I worked with Bonanza, and it just got to the point where it just I could never be a vegetarian now. I can never be a vegetarian. I love too much different types of meat and stuff. And I've had my share of difference. So my sister trying to keep it with chat. Now it's cruising. I love to ghost. I'll send you a link in chat. If you want to wait till the day of, I'll mail you an email. I'll send you an email like Wednesday afternoon. And then you can just let me know and then come and chat. Or I can just send it to you in the email and you just come on when you're ready. That sounds fair. My sister is feeling the same way. She's having a lot of hard time with me. People go through that. And I think a lot too is the quality. It's not the quantity. It's the quality of the meat we're getting right now. A lot of people are finding it kind of iffy. And I do too. I mean, I've almost stopped completely buying any kind of meat from Kroger. And they used to have good stuff. And lately, my neighbors keep sending lettuce over. I have enough. I have lettuce coming out of my ears. Oh my gosh. No, you got rabbits around you. They would enjoy some lettuce. Too bad it's not cabbage. Then you could be making cabbage rolls. I'm finally going to learn I'm going to finally make him some of that too. That will be interesting. I'm hoping it turns out for you. Can't be that hard. I might enter some barbecue contests in Oregon next year. Oh, there you go, AK. That would be good. You grill enough, you might actually do good, man. Go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. Go for it. I had my first and last lobster before the fish poisoning hit. And I liked it. Oh, well. Yeah, sometimes that happens. There was a couple foods I liked that I can't touch anymore. And mushrooms. I love the smell of mushrooms cooking, but I can't eat them. No matter how much I try, I always get sick. I'm a little behind on chat. I'm trying to get caught up. seems like, yeah, you should go for it, AK. Those barbecue contests can actually be fun. My Uncle Jim was in a couple of them. So was my mom's brother, my Uncle Junie. He was, before he left, he did a bunch of tours in Vietnam. And then his last few years in the service, he was a cook. And when he came out, he did a lot of those barbecue contests. He ran his own catering service. Did pretty good. I guess he won a few chili offs. I guess his chili was something special. So you never know, dude. I've been drinking an all-veg protein drink. Yeah, those are actually good for you. Just make sure you're getting a clean mix. You gotta watch some of this stuff that's being shipped. But yeah, if it's working for you, go for it. Bacon stops me from being a vegetarian. Bacon does that to everybody, even the vegans. They just won't admit it. Sounds good. Because we both know what it should look like, my friend. I'm still catching up. You guys are cruising, man. I can't keep up. Yeah, actually, I'm going to give it a try and make me some cabbage rolls. I crave them. See, that's the thing, Vixen. I love the smell of mushrooms, and I try to eat them because they look so good. Everybody's telling me lion mane is like what me and Dad should be taking right now. So I may just order the pills. I don't like doing that. I'd rather have a fresh product and just force myself to eat it and cook it and eat it. Because it's good for neurological issues and stuff like that. So I'm really looking into, finding ways that maybe my body could deal with the mushrooms. Because I always loved the smell of mushrooms. I mean, we cooked them all the time at Bonanza and Ponderosa. And every time I tried them, I got sick. Every time. I can't even do the crazy mushrooms because they didn't do nothing to me. They just made me sick. I should make some. I bought a head of cabbage. There you go. Doesn't it sound good? My dad will be over for dinner tomorrow then. I have an RV in Oregon that I can take to the cook-offs, but I need to build a bigger smoker. There you go. They'll give you a project to do. Let me get my comments back to where they go. I used to know. Talk to Latro if he ever stops in it. Latro, man, he builds us up. I think he's even worked on food trucks. He's down in Texas, but he could probably give you some ideas. When I was really sick, I craved avocados. I couldn't eat avocados. This is one of the foods I just can't eat. I don't know why. Just can't eat it. It's like I can eat cabbage, but it's like I can't eat sauerkraut. Now explain that to me. Every time I eat sauerkraut, I guess. But I can eat cabbage. I don't mind cabbage. I think Mom used to make cabbage stews, all those Irish stews all the time. With cabbage, potatoes, and the whole works. We just have to listen. When I was really sick, I craved. Body knows what. Yeah, and that's true, and that's probably why it's got. I know avocado's got stuff in it that helps the body. I would enter the contest not to win, but yeah, that's a lot of it, dude. You'd be surprised, AK, how many people do those contests just to learn and make new friends and get around. To them, it's just about sharing your food and what you make. You should do it, really. You should. Let me know if you do. I know a train that runs out that way. Maybe I can give me a pop to get on a train when the cook-off goes off. Make him splurge a little bit. Get him out of the house. He doesn't want to go too far. Chillicothe is usually the farthest he wants to go, and he's ready to come home. Been trying to get him to go down to Tennessee to see his oldest son's home. At least the vision, Brian used to do chili cook-offs. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, my Uncle Junie, his barbecue stuff was good. Not as good as Uncle Jim's, but I guess he did chili cook-offs. A lot of chili cook-offs. My little brother once said that he had one of his chilies. He calls it the steamer. He said it was so hot. And this is a kid that loves hot food, just like my son. Loves that hot, spicy stuff. He said it about burned his tongue off, but it was so good going down. Also did cardboard boat races. Yeah, I remember the cardboard boat races. Still have friends we meet with. Yeah, those are fun. That stuff's fun. You meet people, you get to be friends. And the cook-offs, I've heard a lot about cook-offs. You guys, you get a couple good tight competitors that give each other crap, but most places, these guys join just to have fun, share their food, share their recipes, get out and about. And so there's a few diehards, of course. That's what makes it fun, though. We won first. I remember you talking about the proudest day of your life. Oh, we won a cardboard boat race. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. That's like 1 year, this was a while ago. Took the family. I don't even know if Tina remembers this. Was Tina? I went with somebody. It might have been before I got married, but I remember it distinctly. I was probably in my late teens, early 20s. So it might have been before I got married. But I remember going to this Thanksgiving Day. It wasn't Thanksgiving. It was like the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And what they did was they set a bunch of turkeys loose, and you had to go catch them with your bare hands. And I did it on the first try. It was like, holy crap. So I remember taking a big old bird home. Already they prepped it and everything. All I had to do was I had to wait for it, and then they prepped it. And Mom, I'm pretty sure Mom was the one to cook it. That I do remember. Our neighbors beg him to make chili. Yeah, make a big pan, share the neighborhood. Yeah, it was fun. I remember because a lot of these people were chasing the birds for a while. I just distinctly remember just taking off and jumping, and I had one right off rip. He had to have been a good 12-pounder. He was a big bird because I had a hard time trying to carry him back. He was squawking, and I won a 10-ounce silver bar the other day. Oh, that's awesome. AK, that's always nice to have. Hang on to that, baby. Congratulations for sure. For sure. That's cool. Yeah, when we win stuff like that, it's always good. Yeah, I hit the lottery a couple of days ago. I won't say how much, but it helped a lot. Actually, it was a scratch off, and it was a tripler. So it turned out to be even better. But it was just enough to help. Almost 1:30. Yes, it is. Is it really? Man, time is flying. Is that a hint, Edna? You won't leave until I leave? I appreciate all of you really hanging out and coming in. I think next Saturday we'll start it at 11, since that's when most people wander in anyways. Always feel a little odd when I start at 10 on Saturday night. Or not a lot of people associate me with the late nighters. And give me a couple of weeks of 11 o'clockers, and maybe we'll go back to midnights. I put $1 into a key push machine and won on the first. Oh, hell, that's the way to be at AK, is to get it on the first try. Nothing like getting it on the first try. That's awesome. Al's making faces. That is lucky. That's awesome. I was watching this guy. This guy does a channel where he does nothing but go around and goes around, does those crane machines. And watch him do it on first and second tries. It's like, holy crap. You can tell you spend all your days playing these damn things. And he'll tell you which ones are scams and stuff. It's pretty funny. But he does it. I mean, it's amazing. He gets in there and gets it. He went into this one place, and a kid had one of the big ones that has the big scoops. Some kid had climbed up into it. That was laughing my ass off. Pardon my mouth. I think, folks, Unless everybody's willing to hang around for about another half hour, take it to 2 and call it a night. Unless everybody's ready to call it an evening. Edna's giving me that look like, come on, Sue, I'm tired. I don't want to leave until you leave. Bless her heart. But yeah, I think that's what I'll do from now on, is from here on out, next Saturday, if I'm here, be 11. We'll do a couple weeks of that, then I'll go back to my midnights. Because I'm ready to go back to my midnights. I kind of miss the midnight. And I get done here and I pace even longer than I do when I do the midnight shows. So, because I'll get done here, even if it being 2 o'clock or 1:30 when we leave, I'll pace around for a good 2 hours before I even try to lay down. I rocked so hard last night, I found myself against the door and the pillow was in between the bed and the door. I don't know. My keyboard is glitching. I need to restart my phone after this. Well, then go ahead and restart. I think what I'll do is go ahead and call it a night. I appreciate everybody. And kind of keep your eyes peeled. I might do a Father's Day stream. I thought about it. I have to ask Gemma. She says I can stream anytime I want. But I may go ahead and do a 9 or 10 o'clock stream tomorrow night for a bit. So keep your eyes peeled. I don't know how long I will go, but maybe for a little bit. And then I still like to do that like every other Sunday or something, just kind of hang out, do what we're doing now, just chit chat, not give any specific. I try to make Wednesdays paranormal spooky time chat, but it never ends that way. So maybe I'll give us every other week a night just to come in and ramble. I mean, the same rules will apply, Let's try to stay away from politics is the main one right now, because right now politics is crazy. Let's keep us all in the same kind of field. And I want to thank everybody for stopping in tonight. I want to thank Nightmare, because he always comes in and hides in the background. Chris, Jarvis were some of the first people in here. Rain for coming in, of course, Edna, Vixen, Al, AK, Miss Warmington. If I got that right, if you're still listening, welcome, and I'm glad you came in. You could have joined. Next time you might be comfortable joining the conversation. This is really talking about food, but who am I missing? Anybody? I try to get it. Andrew. I knew I was missing something. Andrew for coming in. Thank you guys. I love you guys. All the people that have been hanging out in and out of the background. Thank you so much. I do know that Nighthawk wants us to much love to you, Nightmare. They're my little other spooky ghost in the background. Nightmare does want to have me and Gemma on, talk about Glimmer Man. He wanted to have us on tomorrow, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's Father's Day, and I'm sure I'm going to try to spend time with my pops. But his birthday, he feels extra special because he gets 2 days. Sometimes his birthday falls on Father's Day, and then it's a real But anyways, so yeah. But I may keep an eye on YouTube. I might do a mid-evening, late-night stream for Father's Day. Depends on what goes on with the daughter tomorrow and everything. If not, I'll probably do it next Saturday, because I would like to do that just so we can all just hang out, waste a Sunday night, keep us up before workday Monday for those who work. Have a wonderful night, folks. Thank you all, Vixen, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging with me tonight. I do appreciate it. It started off kind of slow, but I noticed tonight, especially tonight, I even said to Gemma after she came home from her paranormal circus that most people don't start running in until after halfway through the first one or around 11 o'clock. You guys all started coming in. So thank you so much. I appreciate the love, and I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful Sunday. If I don't see you tomorrow night, you will see me here in the chat for Gemma's Monday, 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. upload premiere. It's the Carter brothers, the vampires. Oh, I'll get some. I'll eventually go to sleep. I actually, when I go to sleep at night, it's the matter of when I go to sleep. I've averaging about 3 to 4 hours now, sometimes 5. One day this week, I actually slept 6 hours. So, but maybe I think that's age. But they're restless sleeps. I wake up mentally refreshed. Physically, you could tell it was a rough 6 hours for my body. So that's what happens when you have the issues. Anyways, and I've dealt with them so long. And I got to shut up. Have a wonderful night. Everybody have a great Sunday. And I hope to see you at 11 a.m. Monday for her premiere. Like I said, like I'm going to say again, it's the Carter brothers. They were supposed to be real vampires. So that'll be a good one. She likes to do her vampire once. She has that fascination with vampires. I have werewolves. Anyways, have a wonderful one, folks. Hopefully we'll see you on the flip side of Monday if you don't see me tomorrow night. You dads out there, have a wonderful Father's Day. And for your moms that sometimes are dads too, happy Father's Day to you, just like we do for Mother's Day. I know a lot of mothers play 2 roles, and a lot of fathers play 2 roles. God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Much love. Make sure you leave a like and leave a comment. Always helps. Good night, folks. I'm rambling. See you all soon.